Welcome to the Space Cats Peace Turtles Patreon Tournament Championship. After 24 games, 3.5 months, and 108 contestants, we've found the best 6 Twilight Imperium players in the world, and we're very excited for this epic showdown. Your finalists are the Diplomat, Vaunt, the Used Car Salesman, Schroeder, the Calculator, Unaligned Magi, the People's Champ, Mage, the Rising Tide, Janor, and the Ace on the River, 9 of Spades. Now, Mechatol Rex beckons our players one final time to determine the rightful Galactic Emperor.
Let's do this.
And then we start
Damn,
playing.
I can't follow that. I'm sorry.
Wait. So
this is a tournament? Wow.
this is a tournament now, everyone, and we're gonna play a board game.
Monopoly?
The first thing I have to do here is I have to reveal your final map.
Yeah, let's look at this map.
So just so we're clear, we're not supposed to talk about the script once we go live on the stream.
Wait, who was gonna win? Was it? Okay.
See who drops out of the game because their ping jumps out of nowhere. Here's your final map, folks.
All right. Oh man, so exciting! Look at
And
this
I'm immediately
beast.
gonna start divvying up the.
Yeah,
Boom.
whoa, indeed.
Your players all have their factions. Feel free to discuss. Feel free to talk about the map. Take your
All right,
time.
so
Let me
we'll,
know
we'll
when
talk
everyone
about
is
the map.
ready to ban. If you'll type a ready in chat whenever you feel like you guys are at a consensus and ready to do stuff. Vaunt,
Yeah, I got Mentak to ban just so that everyone knows.
Oh, thank you
That's
so
good.
much.
Yep.
I
You're welcome.
will remove Winu from the game.
Okay.
For me, so.
So we have one player with
Sorry if anybody was hoping for that.
Nalu,
Does anyone-
Necro, and
does anyone
SARS. That's
want
going to be an
Murat
interesting
in?
choice. We've
'Cause,
got
you know, you could try it.
Mentak and Hakan and Isarl in one hand, which is also kind of a weird grouping.
Hey, look, this red
Yin and
spot, they've got
Sardak.
a yellow skip and a red skip. Oh my god, maybe. No.
For the Magi. We have
Return of the Gaslight.
Muat, Arborek,
Yeah,
and
no.
L1 in Mage's hand.
I'm trying to look at the.
Barony, Winu, and
This is part of the
Jolnar
stream where we all just
in
stare at the
Janor's
map.
hand,
Okay.
which is super fun. I'm excited to see
Interesting choice, too.
Jolnar make it
Okay.
into the mix. Soul Extra on the Ghosts in 9 of Spades' hand.
So far away.
So we have a couple interesting hands.
You want it for Grav Drive, but you can't get to it easily.
Yeah, but he has Bear Glitter Force sitting right by him.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So an immediate interesting
Yeah, the blues
thing to note about this map is that
accessible. Like it's a slow map.
all
right?
of the equidistant
That's what it is.
systems
It's a slow
have a
map.
single planet inside of them. This was a
The-
deliberate choice by
This guy's not
Hunter.
close enough to be super useful in inner.
They
I mean, this guy
one of the things
is
we saw in the
not
semis
fair,
map, where all of
and-
the equidistant systems were the
never.
best
Not gonna
systems in
get
the game. They got shared a lot. People came
Alright,
to
well,
agreements to share the
comfortable.
systems between them, and we didn't want that to happen. We wanted
Who's
those
the sixth guy
equidistant
who's not
systems to
ready
be
then?
owned by a single
Looks
person.
like everyone's
Yeah,
ready.
Good to go. Sorry, I was staring.
It's going to drive
Alright,
a little
then.
bit more conflict.
You guys are all ready, and you're prepared to do your first ban. Everyone hover your hand over your ban. And 3, 2, 1, ban them. All right, we see a ban from the Yin Brotherhood, the Mentak Coalition, the Winu, the Federation of Soul, the Clan of Sar,
I feel like
and the Arborek.
I feel like the SAR have been banned in every
If everyone can pull the
single
rest
game,
of your factions out, we should have 11 sitting over here.
or at the very least not picked ever to not or not nominated. But we do
Alright,
have a
Joel
fun little
ban.
mix of
Not,
factions
I
here.
had that or Winu to ban. You know.
So everyone, you'll need to hit your dice roller so that we can do nominating order, and then I'll change up the turn order here. I see
So
3 5s.
I think
Fives
this
are gonna have to
I think this
re-roll.
draft is going to be a little slower. I think people are going to have to take a moment to analyze
You
these
might
slices
speak
a
of not
little bit
rolling higher than a five
before
on any of these.
Yeah,
making
me too.
choices. Some people might pick
I
a
think we have
faction that they
Vaunt.
like and
Vaunt,
feel
if you'll give
comfortable
me
with.
a reroll.
Like someone might just right off the
I
bat
did,
pick
but I guess
Jolnar
it
or
was
Necro or Barony.
There we go. Okay,
Or
so
L1, something like that. Maybe Hakan.
So
It's not
purple
Vaughn
and white.
L1
As far as nominations
Yeah,
go
purple
for
and
this
white
next
need to reroll.
nomination stage
Man,
of the
this is a
draft,
close battle.
we're going to be picking 7 factions
Oh.
that can be drafted.
And purple gets it. All right. Circle takes the square. Magi.
I'm
Top of the
expecting
order with nominations. And
Janor.
you'll nominate
sorry,
2
Jolnar.
right off the top.
L1, Barony,
This
Necro,
one's a duh.
Hakan.
He's nominating.
I'm not expecting Xcha or
Yeah, this is
Muwat or
just for
Sardak.
yeah, correct. All
Unless
right,
someone's
we can pass the
intentionally
turn to
throwing
Vaughn.
some of the weaker factions in to try to force someone's hand.
Now the question is, who do you really not want to play as or against, and who do you really want to play as, of course? And are you afraid of any particular player being any particular race?
I'm kind of afraid of you being Khan.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Throwing in Sardak.
Yuck, but whatever.
Why?
Because Sardak is my dark, underhanded, secret win play race.
They are.
Schroeder, why? You won your semis game this Sardak.
Yeah,
I did.
I've never lost when I've played Sardak, but that doesn't make him a good race.
That's actually true for me too.
I'll go with Barony.
I think Barony is a great pick. There are definitely going to be a couple slices on this map where Barony is going to be very, very good.
All right, 9 of spades.
Nalu, Jolnar, of
You
course, from
trucker,
Janor.
Janor.
I think
Well, that was-
we
Mage.
probably
That
see
wasn't easy.
Hakan get thrown in here, and Asarl, maybe, or Hakan and Ghosts. Ooh, next job pick. Okay.
All right, and
I don't.
Oh, Yasaro or Hakan? It's a big question.
I
No,
mean-
don't. Aw.
wait, why do you want me to not do it? I'm open. I mean, I'm probably gonna do it no matter what. Tell me why you don't
It's
want me
alright. Oh, don't worry
Hakan
about it.
Jolnar is just such a cancerous relationship.
It is.
It's gonna be glorious. I love cancer.
Whoa.
Heard it here first.
All right. Those are our nominations, folks. I'm going to burn these 4. And let's go ahead and re-roll for drafting order.
All right. So while we do that, wait for that. Let's take a little bit more of a look at the map here.
I got a 10.
So you can see
That's
we do
impossible.
have 3 slices that have red bordered tiles between
Right, I
the home slice and
see.
Mechatol
Well,
Rex.
I'm last.
So it's gonna
Janor.
make people's choices
I see.
a little bit more interesting.
Two
They have to
eights, purple
choose
and
whether or
yellow
not
need
they
to
have the
re-roll.
clear path to Mechatol Rex and an empty space right in front of their homeworld, or an obstructed path to Mechatol Rex, but with 2 systems adjacent to themselves.
All right,
with,
there's your drafting
with 2
order.
planets each.
Janor, top of the order.
Janor
Jolnar
at the top of the order.
You know
Is
you
he
wanna.
is he going to
Well,
skip?
Maybe, right?
Jolnar.
Jolnar can cope with a lot of different slices.
I mean, at the same time, though,
Hakan also can cope
Well,
with a
we
lot.
should move these off.
yeah, we should look at the map right now before we make any more
Move
decisions.
these off of the circles, right? Because we're gonna put it where we want to place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now they're kind of
Not
hitting
gonna
pause,
succeed.
taking a step back to look at the map. There are a few slices where certain objectives are easier, and I'm sure that's going to
Well, I feel
factor
like some of
into
these
people's
slices
decision
are
here.
significantly
We have
better.
this red seat and blue seat, both
Well, I
have
don't
pretty
know,
easy
'cause the
access
ones
to
that
3
have
tech skips.
one system
for instance.
adjacent have a clear path to Mechatol, and then the ones that have 2 planet
Yeah.
systems adjacent are blocked to Mechatol.
Yeah.
Very true. I like it.
Some of these slices
It's
have very
spicy.
efficient
But
planets.
if you have a
Some of
faction
them
with
have less efficient
anti-mass,
planets.
having an asteroid
Yep.
field's the exact same as having a blank.
Yep. And then this bro can always rift it for the biscuit.
Ugh. I'm sorry, guys. It's
So
gonna
this
take me
gravity
just a
rift
Oh, man. Don't
applies a
stress
plus
about it.
1 movement to any
So
ship
there
that moves into it. So
races
someone who's
that
sitting in the
don't
purple
do
slice
that.
could attempt to take the risk and go for Mechatol
Yeah.
Rex a little early, although they might be a little hard pressed to come up with the influence. They might use to use trade goods or something like that. The risk, of course, being for every ship that flies through the gravity rift, you roll a 10-sided die, and for any result of 1 through 3, the ship just dies before it arrives at its
Screw this
destination.
slice right here.
Yeah, straight up.
So this green slice is a little interesting. It is one of the slices with a direct path to Mechatol Rex. They do have the defensive nebula to their left, but the planets in the slice are certainly not great. Arnor Lore being a 2/1 and a 1/2 is pretty inefficient.
You guys leave me. This is what I have to, this is what I'm thinking about. I'm going to get the slice, you leave me. So I have to take a race that can play any slice. Which
So the way this draft goes is person at the top
You're
picks
just trying to
first
justify picking
between either a
Jolnar
race
again.
or a
Well,
slice.
it means
Going all the way
Jolnar,
to the bottom,
Barony,
and
or
the last
Hakan,
person to
in my
pick
opinion.
will choose
And
both their
Destiny is
faction
with you.
and their
Go for
slice, and then it
Jolnar
goes
again.
back up to the top from there. So Jaynor being the
I
first
did,
pick,
I did win with Hakan in one of those games, you guys.
they're going to choose either the faction or the
So
slice,
aren't you
and then they're
bored
going
of
to
those
get
factions? You should
the
take extra.
dregs of
Well,
choices
Nalu is
for
a
the remaining
personal
choice at the very
favorite
end of the draft,
But,
which is what Jaynor is taking some time to think about. If he takes Jolnar,
oh, man.
one of the strongest factions in the game, for
Situation.
sure.
Actually,
He's going to get stuck in whatever slice the group kind of comes to a
All
consensus
right,
as
conversely,
being the
what would,
worst.
I never take this long drafting. I apologize. All right,
It's
so
all
if
good.
I,
It's,
if I would be left with 2 races, which 2 races would I hate the most to be left with? And then
So
what
now-
would I do with that?
Now he's considering not taking
Well, I
Jolnar,
just think
taking a
that-
slice instead, and
Everything here is pretty
considering
playable.
what the last two
Yeah,
factions
yeah, I'm not
might
too
be.
sad about him.
I
So
think Xshaw is going to be fairly weak in at least 3 of the slices. Xshaw want to be able to build up a defensive PDS
Jolnar
network,
it is.
which means
Jaynor
having
the
planets adjacent, having this empty
Alright,
space
and
right in
then
front of
May
them
looks
would
like
be
he's
bad for
grabbing the
Xshaw.
L1Z1X.
So we do
Unaligned,
see
we can
people
pass the turn, guys. Make sure you're always passing that turn when you're done.
jumping out of the gate here with faction picks. We have Jolnar and L1Z1X picked immediately afterwards, very quickly.
man, this map.
Now Unaligned Magi is going to make a choice.
So that was a quick race choice there with Mage.
Yeah, I
You may
mean,
have noticed a pattern in my games.
If
And,
it ain't
for any
broken,
for any
don't
new
fix
players
it.
watching,
Right,
we'll
yeah,
go over
Magi is
the
no
abilities and
one.
everything of
Okay,
these
cool
factions
thing.
a little bit later.
I
during
thought
the
about this
beginning
a
of the
lot
round.
this week. I was like, well, should I just do the same thing again? It seems to be working.
Huh.
Don't screw with the program.
So Unaligned Magi has kind of made a bit of a name for himself playing the Necro virus in this tournament. During his first game, he played the Necro and took trade the first 4 rounds of the game and won it pretty handily.
Screw with your system to give
They
Magi
made some
the-
serious bank and applied those trade goods very
To
well
be honest, I
into
feel like Necro's
scoring
probably going
objectives.
to do pretty well on a map like this, especially with the races.
Jolar's
I
in,
think
right? Yeah.
the way
Yeah,
this draft
exactly.
is going to shake out,
not
Unaligned
bad.
Magi can take Necro here and basically
I'm
place
just blown
himself in a
away that you guys
slice
didn't go with
that
slice.
should be
I'm not
adjacent
really
to Jolnar, which is great
too,
for
but I'm okay with it.
for the Necrovirus. Of course, the Necrovirus, their big thing is that they can't research
blue
technology; they
factions
steal the
here, I don't
technology. Well, they
really
copy the technology of others. Jolnar being the most tech savvy faction in the game. So if he can find a way to pick himself Necrovirus and get next to the Jolnar, he's in a position to have a really solid game.
Well, he'll still get a pick of 3 slices.
Yeah.
I think being in the middle of a draft is probably the best balance there.
I do want to say for any new players who are
I
watching
like
this
being
game,
at the end.
I am going to try to
Me, I generally, yeah, I like being at the end too.
basically treat this
I
video
don't
like
have to
sort of a
double think
tutorial at the
any of my
beginning. I want to
decisions
go over
'cause-
as much as I can and explain how the game works.
say
If you have any questions, if there are things that
Alright.
don't cover enough
This
or
is
don't
it.
talk
This
about
is
at all, and you're wondering how something
what
is
you doing.
happening or why, and you're not watching
It's
this
funny 'cause I
live
was gonna
on
take that
the
slice.
Twitch
I
channel,
think.
I'm going to put in the description of this video links to the SCPT Discord. Feel free to join us there and ask questions. There are like 100 people around at any given time who are happy to answer questions. You can also post a comment on the YouTube page, and we'll answer questions there too. Magi, our purple player, has picked himself a
Non-stop thrills
slice.
here for you guys on the stream.
He is
Yeah.
taking a
Watch
Bizfria.
us all stare. at
Dal
the map.
Butha with the Gravity Rift right in front of him. It's an interesting
Hands wiggling
choice.
everywhere.
It's a fairly efficient system. He has Bizfria has, of course, just the
Next
5
time
resources. You
on
don't even have to
Space
worry
Cats,
about
Peace Turtles
wasting any
Finals.
influence with these planets,
Bonds.
which makes Dal Butha a pretty clear choice usually to just spend his 3 influence. with easy access to
So-
Quantum Meyers, and the opportunity to rush through the Gravity Rift
Dragon Ball Z perspective,
if
did we ever
he
decide who to? 'Cause I
feels
think
like that's a
that
strategy he needs to
Magi
go
is
for.
Probably Vegeta.
I was thinking the same, yeah.
I was in the back of my head just going,
Vaught, our white player, is taking
Kamen.
this slice.
Alright,
It is
this
interesting to
slice.
me that the first two slices that get picked
alright.
are
Nine of spades,
obstructed
are
slices, with this one with the asteroid field in front of him. So this slice has a lot of influence available to it with Aaron and Mir. These blue numbers here are the influence on each planet. The yellow numbers are resources,
Yep.
which can be used for different things in the
Slices.
game. And then this
Alright.
system to the right, Rescue Line Cornique, is probably most.
Boy,
Oh
alright.
boy,
I
some
think
wind.
that I know where I
Going to be
want.
used as primarily
And
resources.
I've got some nice choices. I've got 3
The
seat
nine of spades
places
taking the third obstructed
and
slice.
Some nice races that I enjoy.
That's so interesting.
I'm pretty sure I'll be Hakan.
I wonder if
They're
Matt
just-
expected that to be the case with the draft.
Then the question is, and I guess the only seats available are everyone else picked the. So, yep. So I already said I hate this slice, so I'm almost certainly not going there.
You're gonna pick the one in front of you.
I personally think my favorite slice on this map
Sure.
might
If I'm
be
a
this
con,
yellow
then I
slice here.
want- I like
I
the
very
idea
much
of
like
green
the
skip and the
efficiency
yellow
of the
skip
system.
doesn't.
Torque and Techuron being super efficient, just 2 resources with no wasted influence, and 3
Yeah,
influence with
I-
no wasted resources is wonderful. Starpoint New
Like,
Albion is a very
this
strong
very glorious
planet,
forest
especially to have right
nice.
next to Mechatol Rex as a forward base. Putting a space dock on Starpoint is very good and gives you a lot of production value. And you have that green skip
The
and
downside is that
are
no matter
adjacent
what
to a yellow skip in this
Unless I'm
slice as
going
well.
over here, I'm next to Magi, so oh well.
It's alright, we'll be friends.
Yeah. I'll just be making sure that all of our deals are binding whenever possible, and then we'll work well together.
It doesn't sound to me like people are considering the possibility of certain objectives coming up when they're picking their slice, but it's of course possible that they're just not saying that out loud. But weirdly, I think that the 3 slices that have been picked are
Woo,
at least
baby!
these 2
Alright.
up here.
Do they get to
are,
hear our sound too, or they just see us silently waving our hands in the air?
a little bit more challenging when it comes to certain control objectives. This one has good access to 3
I'm
tech
not
skips
even
here,
gonna play
which
anymore. I am
is very
Hakan.
good.
I am Hakan.
Alright, so Schroeder's definitely playing
Alright,
the
so where you
Hakan.
going, man?
Now he has to
I know
choose
where
what
you're
slice he'll be playing in.
I think we all do.
I don't know. I don't really think this slice is better than that slice.
Okay.
All right then.
I guess I should think about it for just another hot minute.
One thing I do want to say
It's
to any
just-
new
it's
players who
resources
are
versus
who are watching this, or anyone who's
Yeah.
thinking about picking up this
I-
game,
Uh,
this
you
whole
wanna
draft process is
wormhole
something that we
next
kind
year
of
or
cooked
a
up for the purposes of the
giant
tournament. And when you set up a game,
I get
this
that
is
as
far
a
from what
con,
you have to do to get this
it's
game rolling.
generally better
You
to
can pick
have,
predetermined maps. You can build maps with your
influence
friends.
rather than resources, so you
You
have
can
trade
pull
goods.
random maps off the internet that literally just randomly assign
Trade goods
tiles.
can be both, man.
And you
Logic
guys,
is
you can
flawed.
just decide to play
I
whatever
agree.
faction
I agree,
you want,
man,
as
I
long as
agree.
there's no, there aren't 2 people who want to play the same faction. Like that's
Oh, does
totally
that change
cool.
your
that'll
opinion
be
of
fun.
slice
As many
location?
rules as there are for Twilight Imperium, the setup and how you begin to play is one of the areas where there really isn't any strict way that it should be done.
So whatever slice you pick, just know that it will be Schroeder's foul.
Yeah. Whichever slice I pick, it will be what loses me the game. All right.
I'm just gonna go out and just say that the slice he should pick is the yellow slice, in my opinion. Not only do I think it's probably the best slice on the map, which I mean, it seems weird that it's not been picked yet, but I think it's certainly the best of the
Screw it. Yeah.
slices that
I'll do
are
it.
available still. He's taking the blue spot. All right.
Pick that one.
Oh man.
Yeah. It was not my original thought, but you guys turned me around to it. Thank you for helping. Thank you for the help.
So
man.
9 of Spades, our
Now
green
if you
player,
win, it's our
is going to need to
All right, 9 of Spades. Which
select a
faction are you
faction.
playing in the 9 of Spades slice?
So I think the Barony would be a
I mean-
great faction here.
Could take Necro and steal Quantum Data Hub nodes.
He could also do that. I'm not sure Quantum Data Hub Nodes is going to be a high-tech priority for a con in this game, especially with no yellow text skips in this slice.
Oh man, I'm green.
I think production
Weird.
biomes is probably a little bit more likely
yeah,
for him
sorry,
as far
I
as
was
faction
thinking
text go.
Pawns. Never mind. I mean, I would rather you have Necro rather than Magi.
The thing I like
we all
about
know
the
you're gonna
Barony
pick
in this
Extra
particular
for
slice is they have a
Extra
lot
Warm.
of resources in their homeworld and very
Yeah,
little,
man.
no
Weird
influence. I think they have one maybe.
You know, I'm pretty sure Matt was deliberately.
But they have
imbalancing
the green
this
spot
map and
has Q's and
expecting the
Raren
draft
right next to it, which is
to
5
cover the
free
imbalance,
influence
but I
that they
don't
can
think that's
use with a 6th one available in Saculag if necessary. I think that this is a slice that's pretty tailor-made
We
for
sort of
the
said
Barony.
up
Either this
front,
one or
I
the
sort of
white
said
slice down here also has
that
a lot
I
of
thought it was
available
cooler
influence.
if we had some great races and some middle of the road races, and then nobody disagreed, and nobody put in any bad races.
I think the X-Jaw
Right,
can do
well, the
okay in this
races
slice.
are reasonably equal, but the slice
Having extra
positions are
tokens
not.
and extra influence for the X-Jaw is always
I-
good.
sorry,
There's
guys.
tokens for quashes. And having
This
the
is
two
Yeah, man,
systems
you
with 2
stink after
planets
we
each
all took,
adjacent
like,
to
8
that
years
homeworld
on our other
to
picks.
put up a nice
You
solid
should be going
defensive
fast.
PDS network.
Jesus.
But I think we've also determined that the Necro in general are pretty strong,
Jano, it
especially with
looks like
these
we're, neighbors again.
skilled players
Maybe.
who know how to play the
Yeah.
Necro in a way that's not just
No,
aggressive.
we'll be neighbors again.
The key to playing a
But yeah,
good
not
Necro virus
it's
is
just that, so you know, like,
is using diplomacy,
that yellow
despite the
skip
fact that they
player, since it's
appear on
next
paper
to
to be
you like
very
that,
much
I mean,
a
I
warlike,
probably
aggressive
won't end up
faction.
getting quantum data hub nodes unless we make a deal, and so probably that would mean I would only get it if you were Necro and you let me have it because you know that you could get it from me too.
So how are we confirmed that Unaligned Magi is going to be playing the Necrovirus? Because I think that we do not want him to get Nalu. All I'm
Well,
saying. I'm supporting your pick as Nalu right now. I like it.
So Nalu is an interesting
Nalu-
choice.
You guys know I can play
Um,
more than Necro, right?
This slice does not have a lot of resources available
Well,
to
it
it
wouldn't make
outside of
sense
So,
a
are you
possible
going
homeworld.
to pick
The
Necro?
Nalu don't need a lot of resources. They can build just a bunch of fighters, which are pretty cheap. They also have a yellow
Nice
skip, so they
slot,
can
right?
get maybe go for a
He's
Space Dock
definitely-
2
he's gonna
at
be
some
a
point in the
veteran,
game,
So,
Yeah, I'm taking Nalu.
which will help them
Oh, we're
produce
kind of
more
backwards
It's
now.
Bonds.
Sorry, Vaughn.
fighters at a time. I think it's a
I've
fine
been
choice. I
using
think it's
Big
probably
Red.
not what I
I don't
personally
think
would have
Necro
picked,
makes sense as much in this
but I'm
life.
sure 9 is picking the faction he feels most comfortable with in that particular position. Another thing that needs to
I'm
be
super happy. I'd
considered
love
is
to
that
have
he's
either
next to
of
the
these
Hakan
factions,
player,
so-
who is the trade master.
I
The
was thinking
Barony
my
in
original
the
plan.
white pick, I think, is a great choice.
Alright.
Unaligned Magi picks up his signature Necro
That
pick,
mage needs
which
to pick
leaves
slice.
the X-Jaw as the unpicked faction, which doesn't really surprise me at all. I think
Yeah,
in
the
this
Buffalo
tournament,
rough, huh?
X-Jaw have
It is.
pretty
It is rough.
have underperformed
Yeah.
quite a bit. So it does not surprise me that these players are not super interested in playing them.
Mage, I recommend you go into the yellow spot. If you go green, we're going to butt heads. We need to use our powerful forces to crush our enemies against each other, not against ourselves, you know?
I don't understand what that means, but it sounds like he said he's going to attack me. I know what to do in this case.
I just foresee that green.
No, I
and-
understand what you have
Yeah.
already said, and will work.
I mean,
So the interesting thing
ends
here
up being
is
like you
if
wanna
L1,
be
the yellow
these
player,
two,
chooses the
these
green
two.
slice here, that's going to
Yeah.
force the Jolnar into the
That's,
slice next to the
that's the
Necrovirus.
choice.
All I know is
which,
that Vaughn
might
already said
be
he's
creating a
coming.
monster.
So
But an important
he
thing
said
to
if I don't
consider is
acknowledge
that
him, attack
the
me.
L1 homeworld is 5 resources
You,
and 0
I
influence.
know.
took that
All
meaning
right.
from my my
So,
words. I did not.
He needs
mean
to
it.
consider where he's going to get
Exact,
influence from.
I didn't mean it quite like that.
I didn't mean it like that, but I meant it like that.
I meant your balls. That's what I meant.
A good tech skip is also pretty key to the L1Z1X, and taking this green spot does give him the possibility of taking a blue skip, so we can get to Gravity Drive and those Super Dread 2s a little bit faster, which might be an important factor for an L1Z1X. Alright, and he does take the green spot.
I
Which
did not
leaves
see that.
Jolnar with the yellow slice. The
guess-
slice that I would have considered the best slice got picked last. I don't know. That seems weird. Maybe I'm just dead wrong.
All
on
right,
that.
everyone. I'll mess with the Go tokens. Don't worry about those. But if you guys want to start unpacking your stuff, actually, wait. Before you unpack, excuse me, I want to
Don't we have to switch
redo
positions?
the colors. Yeah, you'll have to do that, but don't switch positions until after.
All right.
Um,
Well, I think this is
Alright,
going to be a super interesting game. I think we have six,
so let's
six
see.
cool
Looks
factions.
like blue and yellow. put Hakan there. I see a purple, red. Let's see. Barony white, on yellow, Nalu green. That make L1 what?
Blue.
Green. Oh no.
Blue.
Never mind.
Yeah. So let's do a.
This is the most
green,
fun part of any
blue.
Twilight Imperium game, where you've picked a faction, you've set up the game, but you have to decide who's playing what color. Obviously, you have to
blue
match
for
them as
L1.
best as possible.
Where are we at now? Let's see. Nalu needs to be.
Of course, we're playing with white rather than
Nalu
black
can stay
pieces,
white,
which is what the
really
base game
care.
actually comes
I'm
with.
gonna set Barony as
Nah,
well.
he likes colors.
So red and white.
Which is kind of just too hard to see that sort of stuff on TTS,
And
so
then red.
the mod uses
Joel,
Red and
instead of
purple.
black.
Yeah, that's the last switch.
Why is Joel and I red?
They're not.
Yeah, they are.
I know.
You made me red. I'm red.
Well,
I
you
see.
you'll have to
Spot.
change position. The spot isn't the right thing. So now we should be set. And everyone can set their tokens on their board and unpack. But then we'll need to do one more dice roll because we need to figure out who our speaker is.
The speaker is a vastly important part of this game.
No.
People-
Oh, God, it's
people
happening.
didn't-
My
people
greatest
didn't-
fear.
People didn't take their
Okay.
buttons away.
Wait.
I didn't get the go tokens out of the way in time.
So the speaker determines a couple of things. It'll most
know if you can
most
hit the
importantly,
unpack
right at the
button again, or
beginning,
if you can just move
determine
these
who
back into
picks
position.
who
I would
picks the
double-check
strategy,
your
their strategy
unit
card
totals.
first. Then it goes in clockwise order from there. And as soon as the objectives
Hey,
get
Rory,
revealed,
you know that
um,
weird thing you noticed with the Nalu home system yesterday? It's happening in my game, or in this spot too. The Nalu home system like lines up.
Creepy.
Yeah, so the reveal of the public objectives will pretty heavily influence and
All right, everyone,
inform
dice roll when you're in
strategy
your
card choices.
seat.
So of course
Have we
the
switched
person
spots?
who
Yes,
is
looks like we've all switched
the
spots.
speaker has the best chance of getting a strategy card that works for their strategy and the points that they're going for the best, whereas the people last in that order kind of have to make do with things that might not be their top choices. And one of those strategy cards,
need
of
a roll
course, the
from
politics
Janor.
card, can give
Looks
the
like
holder
it's
of that card
unaligned
control
Magi
of that speaker token.
with the speaker token.
Oh boy.
Let's
Oh, boy.
let's deal out some secret objectives.
So each player of the course of the game can score only 3 secret objectives, and these objectives are something only they can score. The public objectives
we
are
do
something
with the one we
everybody
don't want?
tries to score, and each player can score one
You
time
flip it in your
a
hand and
piece.
drop it on the deck. whenever
So at the
you're-
beginning of the game, you get to draw 2 secret objectives and decide which one of them best suits your faction and the slice of space that you have available to you, and throw the other one back into the deck. There are 20 secret objectives total, 5 of which can be scored during the action phase, 15 of which have to be scored during the status phase, along with the public objectives.
Yeah. Let's go in order. I just want to get the secret objectives and stuff set before we do that, and then I'll.
So let's take a look at Unaligned Magi's secret
Magi,
objective.
this is the one you're getting rid of. Is that correct?
He has chosen to
Rotor, you
keep
guys
an
both
action
set
phase
yours
secret
out.
objective called Make an Example of the
Those.
World. He must use Bombardment to destroy the
looks like I'm
last of the
waiting
player's
on
ground
just
forces on a
Mage to
planet.
give up
Bombardment
a,
can be
secret
used
objective.
as a
one
Dreadnought and War Sun ability that allows you to bombard, as
And as
one
a
might
kind
expect,
reminder,
a planet
everyone
with ground
speaks
forces on
up
it
on the
before you
website.
invade with your ground forces, giving you a chance to weaken and soften
Yes,
up an
make
army
sure
before
it's where it goes.
you have to fight them man
It's
to
so
man.
sad if it's not.
So he's going to want to build
All right,
dreadnoughts,
I'm going to
get
reveal the
to
first
planets.
2 public objectives, and then I'd like to go in
that are
order
weakly defended and
clockwise
bombard
from
the heck out of
speaker. And if you guys can introduce yourself, just so people can hear your voice and get a little bit accustomed to what you guys are going to sound like throughout the course of this game. But first things first, your first 2 Stage 1 public objectives are: found research outposts, control 3 planets that have technology specialties, and expand borders, control 6 planets in non-home systems. Starting with our speaker, Unaligned Magi. Let's have the crowd hear your voice.
Yeah, that's lame.
Yeah, I'm Unaligned Magi, Paul. If you want to use my real name, doesn't matter. I don't know what else to say.
That's perfect. All right, Janor.
I'm Janor, the nasally voice you'll hear the rest of the evening. Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Hello, everybody. This is Vaunt, or Christoph, if you want to call me by my real life name. I'll be playing White for this game.
This is Mage, and I'm regretting my choice of slice.
I am the 9 of Spades, representing the Great White North.
That means
I am
Canada, for anyone who
Schroeder
doesn't know.
in Chicago, just like Janor, and I am going to maybe talk more than anyone else today.
All right.
No. Yes. Yes, you
All
will.
right. And without further ado, we can kick off the first round strategy phase. Unaligned Magi, whenever you're ready, grab yourself a strategy cards.
Classic Unaligned Magi Necro trade first pick.
Yep.
No
I
surprise.
would've taken it if he did.
No surprise to me whatsoever. So Janor, our Jolnar player, their secret
I
objective is
knew.
become the gatekeeper. They must
I
have
knew
a
the
ship
moment. Yeah.
in a system that contains an alpha wormhole and a ship in a system that contains a beta wormhole.
Should I
Those
still
are these
have
slices
my
here
the person
with
whose
the
turn it is
the
right
B
now, or
and
should I
the
go to
A
the
on them.
Yeah, don't worry about the turn order on the thing. Just go.
So they
and
have very
clockwise.
easy
I'll
access
reset the turn
to
order
a
once we
beta
have,
hole.
speaker. Or, I mean,
An alpha
a,
hole is going to be a little bit
strategy board.
tougher for them to access.
Got it.
But we'll see.
So,
That's
hey,
probably
Mage,
going to be
how's
one
it
he
going over there
scores
to my left?
later on in the game.
What's up?
You want to start making deals?
What are you offering?
Well, obviously we can't make a binding deal right now because this is the picking a strategy card phase. But I want to know, if I pick technology, what are you interested in picking?
I'm probably looking at warfare and politics. I mean, obviously you want tech, right? You can double tech, so that's pretty sweet.
So
That is something.
the Barony homeworld starts with 6
But I
resources,
was
the
looking
highest
at
of
either
any
warfare
faction in
or
the game.
technology. So
The technology
I
card
pick
allows
technology.
the primary player to research a single
warfare.
technology
I pick
for free,
warfare. What do
and
you think you're
they
looking at
may
getting?
spend 6 resources to research
Tech or
an additional
politics?
technology.
There's,
So
If
there's
you
two
pick
choices here.
I would love to buy the speaker token from you with whatever kind of deal we want to make. Just throwing that out there right now.
the Barony is the only faction in the game that can start out immediately
Man,
able
you're
to purchase 2
Giving me a run
technologies
for
per
my
technology
money
card
and
without trading
as the
at
person
all.
who's trying to make the most deals.
We
I
just
mean,
lost Vaunt. Vaunt, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You
Not in the
disconnected.
game. You're
Now, Vaunt's secret objective is Spark Rebellion, another action phase secret objective
I
that
heard him say he wants diplomacy
requires
right
them
before he
to
dropped it.
win a combat
Oh, yeah,
against the
yeah,
player
yeah.
with the most
He is also
victory
gonna
points.
You may have to reload the
The
game.
fun thing about this
Yep, it just
is that
kicked me out of the game.
it allows you to score that point against anyone who's tied for the lead.
I
So
mean,
right
like,
now,
Simulator is no
everyone is
longer
tied for
responding.
0 points, which technically
This
means
would be
everyone
the
is tied
first
for the
of
lead.
many
Yeah.
setbacks on their road to the finals.
So he could fight
Morgan
anybody right
Freeman.
now, and if he won, he could score this point. Something that
Freeman.
does tend to happen when someone picks up the
Morgan
secret
Freeman.
objective right away is that they can hold on to that and score
Showed
kind of
woke
later
in
as a
the
surprise
morning and
action phase
realized
point.
that day he'd be playing Hakan.
So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on whether or not he goes for that early or saves it for a later time. The problem with that is if you start getting ahead of other players, it can be challenging
I
to
wish
find
I
a
could tell
target.
you that
For instance,
Unaligned
if he
Magi
if
fought
he
the good fight
is
and
tied with
sisters left
Hakan
him
for
alone.
first place midway
wish
through
I
the
could
game,
tell
he
you
has
that.
to get all the way to the other side of the map to fight Hakan to score that point. Or he has to start falling behind on points, letting other people catch up so that he can score that point against a neighbor.
How's it looking there, Vaunt? Are you getting TTS to reload?
Now, Mage, our L1Z1X MindNet faction, has chosen Adapt New Strategies as their first
we could still keep
secret
talking about the
objective
strategy card while
to
you're
own
loading if
2
you
faction
want.
technologies. The faction technologies are each, of course, as one might suspect, unique to each
Yeah,
faction.
I think I'm going to pick warfare.
The L1Z1X
Okay,
MindNet's
do you want me to drag that over to you? Or is that
faction techs are
confirmed?
interesting. The Super Dreadnoughts,
Yes,
the
please.
extra
Okay,
powerful
Vaunt is
upgraded
picking
Dreadnought
warfare, So, Mage, feel free to grab a strategy card.
is a faction tech that basically any L1Z1X is likely to pick up. However, the extra one is going to come up sideways. Inheritance systems is a cool tech, but it's a little bit out of the way of the normal tech path of an L1Z1X. Requires 2 other yellow techs or a yellow tech skip of some kind in order to research that. But once he gets it, he can use
Okay,
that
everyone
tech
has
to
their
research
cards.
any
We're
other
still
tech in
kinda
the
waiting
game
for Vaunt to
without
get
needing a
back in
prereqs,
here.
which is
He's
pretty
loading
cool.
up.
Our Nalu player, the 9 of Spades, has picked
And,
technology
Nine
for
of
his
Spades are Nalu.
strategy
So,
card, and his
Have at it.
status phase secret objective is control the region. He has to have 1 or more ships in 6 systems. So the systems are each of these tiles. Each tile is
Let
one
me
system.
before before we jump ahead of things, let me go ahead and give you guys these, huh?
It's actually a pretty easy one for Nalu to get a little bit later in the game once they get their Fighter 2 upgrade. It's very common for the Nalu to spread out their ships and put those fighters in all the little nooks and crannies they can to prevent other players from attacking them. So that's going to be something that he can do kind of just naturally and score that point without doing something that he normally would probably be doing anyway. Hakan player chose last. Their choice of strategy card was Construction, which we'll go over a little bit later, and their secret objective is Fuel the War Machine. They have to have 3 space docks on the board, which is not too shabby for him, especially since he was last in speaker order. Taking Construction between the last 3 choices is very common, so it's not even going to look suspicious to people who might be trying to figure out what his objective might be.
All right, Janor.
And double or triple docking the Hakan homeworld, which is the only system in the game with 3 planets, can be very good. You can get a lot of production value out of that system if you have even just 1 extra space dock, but adding a third can be pretty huge. But of course, he might end up putting a 3rd space dock elsewhere, either in Centauri Grawl or Barracuda 4. So we're jumping right out of the gate here. The Nalu player is immediately activating and occupying Lazar Sakulag.
Are we going to be the friendly Jolnar Necro pairing? Are we?
Yeah, the carrier has a capacity of 4 units, so he brought 2 ground forces and 2 fighters with him.
I won't mess with you. That way.
Well, you know that's great,
but
but that's not. I mean, that's not going to be enough on this end, right? It'll have to be a little more. But I'm willing to work something out. What I'm specifically wondering.
Now remember, he's just gonna wait till he has leverage over you.
I understand how Magi plays. Yeah. But what I'm specifically wondering is if I head here, right? If you can become adjacent and
let me
pop
put in
trade
the
and just
faction names for
refresh me and wash all my stuff, and if you do that, I'll give you research agreement.
Because Matt changed the colors on my scoreboard are going to be super janky. Well, that's all right.
I don't know. I see it as like you could just give it to me, and then I don't have to attack you.
All right.
Too many A's.
So yeah, that's fine. I mean, no, that's fine. That's fine. If that's how we're gonna play.
Root, can you hear me?
Yep.
If there's no
You should be able to just grab the whole column and
rearrange
the column.
We can think about
I'll just recolor each row.
Well, I'm offering now, and my move right now is.
I want it to be in the
the
correct order on the table.
Now.
I just
should
want
be able
that
to grab
as
the whole
tribute,
column
and
thing
then
and move it around to where you can see.
Yep. All right. I know how many.
I'm just going to recolor each row. I think that's
I get back if you need help against the.
I'm popping leadership.
All right, leadership is popping. If you'll hit that play button on leadership, and then everyone, if you're buying any command counters, let me know. If you're not, hit pass. I'll wait for 5 confirmations. I see 3, 4 no's, and I see a blue no. All right, that's everybody. Are you getting more than 3 command counters, Janor?
No, just 3.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. Well, then I believe once you've set all of your tokens in their spots, you can pass the turn. Is that good?
Okay, there we go. Looks
Sure
good.
thing.
So we've had our first strategy card activation. This is leadership, number 1. The numbers on these strategy cards determine the order of play after the strategy phase.
All right, Mage is doing the primary.
During the action
Mage,
phase,
are
which is what we're
you
doing right now.
taking the speaker token?
The reason that
It closed.
Janor
before
wasn't
I
actually the
did
very
it.
first
it
player to
closed
start
on
is
my
because
side,
one of the Nalu abilities is
If you're the one who puts
they
the
get
button, I
0
think
initiative
if
rather
you
than
close it, it
the
closes
typical
it.
1 that starts out each, or the lowest number that starts out each round.
You can try hit and play again, and we'll see what happens here.
So do you want to make a deal for transferring speaker over to me?
Oh no, I'm open to an offer.
Okay, I'm open to giving you many things. I can give you, obviously, you're probably not going to accept the support for the throne, but what would you like instead?
Wow.
I'm willing to offer you my support for the throne.
That's
if you feel so inclined.
Very
not
high price
this
to pay.
early, no, I don't think it's worth it.
I mean, also that could just be a trap.
Well, it's just that I feel like that's going to constrain me way too much at this point. It's probably like a null card at the moment.
Fair enough. What would be the better choice here?
I don't really know. you don't really have that much at the moment, and it's not like
Oh,
you're
you
going to
got
get
it. Good.
many
Okay.
trade goods or anything anytime soon.
I understand.
Can you think of an offer that sounds reasonable?
So basically,
Well,
what's
I
happening
think
here,
that
guys?
you may be interested in my ceasefire, for example.
So our blue player is negotiating to
That's true.
sell the speaker token, which is of course first
also
pick
like
for
the
strategy
promissory.
cards, to the player to his right.
War funding.
Yeah, is that one of the ones that you need to have trade goods for it to work,
No.
or is that no? It's separate.
Well, if I have 2 trade goods, I'll lose it, and if you don't, then you get it for free, basically.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any idea of what strategy you're gonna want next round?
No,
first
I
round's pretty-
will. I will probably take leadership, but I could take either technology or trade, or
Okay.
basically I'm open for many things.
Fine. I will.
Which is why I'm fine giving you whatever you want as well.
I'll do it for giving me, and I would like the ceasefire and the war funding. And we
The only
do-
caveat I would like is that you would not play war funding in a way that would cost me 2 trade goods, if possible.
If possible, sure. But if I'm happy.
It
to
is
do
what
that.
it is, yeah.
If I really need it in a combat, I might have to use it, but I'm willing to try to angle it that way for sure.
Okay, I can accept that deal.
Okay, fine.
All right. Speaker token goes to the Baronia Letnev. Let me deal 2 action cards to the L1.
We can't actually
Deal-
trade yet because we're not next to each other, and
deal
I will.
2
When we
agendas.
get close, we can do that.
And I see Nalu spending their command counter.
Okay.
I see yellow sitting aside. I see
So the
red
politics
sitting aside.
strategy card.
I see purple sitting
First
aside.
step is what we just
Vaughn,
saw.
Are you buying?
Choose a player other than the
action
speaker.
cards?
That player gains the
I
speaker
believe
one.
I am. I'm just double checking right now.
Thing.
The politics player chose the player to his right to gain the speaker token. He then draws 2 action cards,
Yes,
and then we'll get the chance to look at the top 2 cards of the agenda deck and place each card in any
All right.
order on the
Thank
top
you
or
all.
bottom of
That's
the deck.
as soon as L1 returns his agendas, we can pass the turn.
The secondary of that
Sure,
card,
you're
everyone
welcome
else
to go
is
ahead
able
and
to
go
follow
now.
the secondary rather than the primary ability. They can spend a token from their strategy
so,
pool
Jano,
to
you
draw
sound like
2
you're
action
pretty
cards.
scared.
So taking a look at
That
these
one's on the
tokens,
bottom.
we have 3 different types of tokens in this game. We have tactics tokens, we have
So,
fleet
I mean,
tokens,
just
and
be aware
strategy
that,
tokens.
I'm gonna have some money, and I'm gonna be willing to purchase your research agreement.
Yeah, understood.
Sorry, I'm
I mean, like personally, if I were
trying to
you,
get
I
in a
would
lot of
try to
information and
get
also not
2 tech
interrupt
this
all these
round, but
steel making.
just so that like you could get grav drive for the second system, and then in addition, E-res, so that he can't attack you without making you rich. Do you agree
Love
with
him.
those sorts?
Res. That's
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I mean, I still would love to deal with him, but it didn't sound like he wanted to deal. So
I just contribute to be able to get the tech I need without having to fight with you. I'm still only getting half the tech you're getting.
I would love for us to. I mean, and I'd love to be able to work with you all game, Magi. It didn't sound like you wanted to work. So
like
if
that's
you
me
just
getting
want
half of your
tribute,
tech and then
yeah, I get it. But if you just want tribute, if that's the relationship you want, then that's a different thing, right? That's not going to work for me. So. And that's
the relationship
exactly
between the
way you fixed it,
Necrovirus and
you
the
know?
Jolnar
It's
is
unfortunate,
very
but
tenuous.
that's where we are.
And
So,
is a
I mean,
challenging
It's
balance
not
to
divorce.
strike.
If you decide you want to do something different later, we can talk. But
So, yeah. So right now I'm your only neighbor, and it would. So I think that your biggest concern probably right now is making sure that you get research agreement out before tech gets popped. Tell me if I'm.
yeah, I would love to get research agreement out before tech gets popped.
Okay. In that case, so I obviously don't want to give you my trade agreements because that's too much money, and exchanging trade agreements puts too much risk on me. I'm willing to non-bindingly give you 3 trade goods if you give me research agreement.
An interesting proposal. But let's talk about tokens some more. There's tactics tokens, fleet, and strategy. Tactics tokens allow you to actually take actions
think
on the
that,
board, which is what we saw the Nalu do with this
The reason
movement
why
over here,
it's
moving the
3
ships
and
out
not
into the
4
Sacrifice
is because I
Blazar.
think that Nalu
The
is
fleet,
probably going to,
fleet token supply dictates how many
pop
capital
tech as
ships
their
you
next
can, or how many
action.
ships you can have in a system outside
maybe,
of capacity.
Maybe they'll stall it.
So
but
everyone
I
starts
think
with
that just
3,
because,
which means you can have 3
you know,
ships
you
in a
need it
system.
to
That does
happen
not count fighters as long as they're in capacity,
there's some
like
timing
inside of a
issues. I
carrier
think
or
it's
inside the
probably
capacity of a
popping
space dock.
Yeah.
Strategy tokens allow you to follow
mean-
these secondary abilities of strategy cards, and also certain racial faction text that you can research also rely on strategy tokens.
Like, yeah.
The leadership
I mean, do you think that
strategy
you're
card allows
gonna
you to
get a
gain
better deal
additional
at some-
tokens. You also gain a
at
couple of
some point?
tokens at the beginning of each
so
round.
maybe like here's my thought.
Although I guess it's
So,
actually technically the end of each round.
How about whenever trade gets popped? I don't know that I'm going to get refreshed because I feel like Magic doesn't want to deal with me. So that's fine. I'll refresh myself, and we'll do a 4 for 6.
Yes, I am. All right, so
And I'll give you my research agreement now. And that's the deal we'll do when it comes around.
okay. All right, so I'm effectively net paying to.
Right. Yeah.
And did you say that you're giving me the research agreement later or now?
I will give you the research agreement now.
Okay, I completely agree to this trade, the 4 for 6. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it sounds like
Alright, so I'm
the
binding,
Jolnar is giving
but I
his
trust
racial
you, and
promissory note to
this early in the game, I
Schroeder,
think
the
you trust
Hakan,
Yeah.
who is
Well,
able
if you
to
tell me
make
what tech you
transactions
want.
with anyone on the board without being neighbors with them, which is a
Yeah.
unique
I mean,
faction ability.
I'm obviously.
And they're agreeing to a
wanting
commodity
grab
trade
drive,
wherein
but, the way
the Jolnar would gain
pops,
6
I
we'll
trade
see what
goods,
happens.
and
Yeah.
the Hakan would gain 4.
we'll see what
We'll go over that when trade pops,
Okay.
how exactly that's
Cool.
going to work out.
happens.
But now Schroeder has to
Yeah,
take an
let's have
actual
a double
action
dock
here.
meeting. I'm gonna pop construction.
Activating construction right away is a great choice here. If it does not
Go
give
ahead and hit
almost
play,
anyone
Schroeder,
a chance
And then
to
everyone let me know if you're doing the secondary.
take
I
another
see
system
3, 4 no's,
and use construction on that system.
5
So
no's. All
the
right.
primary of construction allows you to place a PDS
Schroeder's
unit, which
space
is a
dock on
defensive,
Hold on, I
a
haven't said
defensive
no
gun.
yet. 1 second.
Oh, excuse me. I see 2 of those.
or a space dock on a plane you control, and then place a PDS on a plane you control. So he's going to place a single space dock on one of his homeworlds,
go ahead,
and then a
Schroeder.
PDS on a homeworld as well. So now he's already got that double dock action, which is great.
9 of spades, are you going to
He
do
just
the
needs
secondary?
one more space dock to
Sorry,
score
just
his secret
thinking.
objective. The secondary ability of construction allows someone else to place a token from their strategy pool in any system, and then they can build either a space dock or PDS on a planet that they control in that system.
Yeah, sure.
So the important thing about that is if you follow the secondary of construction, you're basically locking down the system that you're building in. So if it's not already locked down, like this
better
system is
now?
for green, he already has a token here. They're locking down potentially a lot of ships. So everyone who hasn't expanded yet can't do this without locking down everything that they have.
I mean,
which basically
it
no
always
one's ever
feels a
going to
little
do.
bit weird how the Discord percentage works on the microphone. So
It looks like 9 said no. So Schroeder, you can pass the turn.
So
Magi, you are up.
activating construction before most people
Alright,
move out of their
let me just
homeworlds is a
double
great
check
play.
everything.
It makes it so that
yeah, I
few,
don't
if
need to do any
anyone,
more deals right
can
now,
or will take the
because
risk of
this was
following
fun,
that secondary.
and I just don't think that I need to make any other deals with anyone at this time. So yep, I end my turn.
Magi.
All right, Unaligned Magi, our Necro villain, I guess. Seems like people are trying to make him into the villain for this game. He's going to immediately expand to Bizfria, this very high resource value system here. He's taking just his carrier with a couple fighters for protection, leaving his two
Yes, I
other
forgot that
capital
Magi
ships
could
here
just
at home.
stall trade himself.
Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, if that's the end of your turn, pass whenever you're good. All right, Vaunt.
Yes. I'll be activating the system here.
So Vaunt, the barony player, the barony of Letnev, is going to immediately move out to Aranam Mir, and it looks like he's going to take both his dreadnought and his carrier.
Anyone know why my infantry are upside down?
Should be able to just hit F on him while you're hovering over him, and they'll flip over. There you go.
That's right.
They're drunk.
Barony, don't forget, you can always send a destroyer this way and we can trade.
Yes, I will be doing that.
Alright, so he's leaving his destroyer at home, so as someone mentioned, he can move that elsewhere and trade with someone. Now he's moving all of his ships up to Aranamir because he has the Warfare strategy card. Oops, I'm hitting the other
And
side.
whenever you're done, Vaunt, just hit that pass. turn.
Which allows them to remove a token that they've placed on the board. So they've activated the system and locked these
Spades.
ships down, but Warfare allows them to
So
take
I
this
need to
off,
pop
put it back
tech,
on the sheet,
and
and
Schroeder
allows them
Baroni's
to
gonna- you
move
want me to
these
wait?
during the
Well, I
same
mean,
round.
It all
I
depends
don't
on
think it's
what.
a thing, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I only wanted you to wait so that, like, for example, Jano would have enough money and I would have enough money to do the secondary on tech. But I mean, I just think that probably Magi is going to stall us out. So, I mean, I might be willing to pay you something for it, but I'm not sure that I would be willing to pay you enough for you to actually do it.
Right.
So the interesting thing to
'cause
me
you don't
is
have
that
any trade goods.
Schroeder
Well,
and
your
Janor
trade
made a
convoys
deal
would
that
let
required
me
a trade
use
to
it
be
as an
popped, but
action to buy
completely
a
ignored
turret.
Magi in that discussion.
Yeah, but that's trade convoys. I mean, maybe. I mean, I would have to get something in return for it, obviously.
So let's talk about these promissory notes that they're talking
In
about. Trade
return, I
convoys
won't
is the
pop
Hakan
tech right now,
faction
so you can buy one.
promissory note that is unique to them. It allows the player they give it to as an
I
action,
mean,
place the card
Janor,
in
are
their
you
play
willing to
area,
have
and
me
while this
protect
card's
your
in their
research
play
for
area,
Grav
they can
Drive?
negotiate transactions
Yeah,
with
for sure.
anyone on the board,
Yeah,
even when they're
alright.
not your
Well,
neighbor.
then I'm not
Normally,
willing
you have
to
to be neighbors with
do
someone to
any
make
deal with that.
transactions, like exchange trade goods
I
or
will
promissory
pop
notes. But
technology.
Hakan has the
All
ability
right, it's
to
tech
Can you un-
time.
trade with
you
anyone, and
unstack
this
your
promissory
deck,
note
please?
gives anyone else the
Oh,
ability
yep,
to do
sorry.
the same.
Thank you.
The research agreement that they got from the Jolnar player allows the holder
So I don't
of the
have much
card
space
to
to unstack
gain
the deck.
any
Space,
technology
get
that the
play
Jolnar
up
player
for me.
researches. Only once, but
Uh,
it is a
Vaughn, I
great
think as
card.
long as the names are visible, you're okay. Schroeder's were just flipped the opposite way, where you couldn't read his yellow tech. But
Now the
would assume
technology
yours are
card
okay.
is being popped, so the Nalu player is going to research one technology for free. If they had
All
6
right, I
resources,
see 9
they
of
could
spades
choose to
getting
research a second
anti-mass.
technology.
Schroeder not using tech. Necro, are you getting? Nope, looks like no. Janor, I see you with your thing there. Are you buying a second tech?
No, I don't have the
no?
resources
Right.
for a second.
Okay,
Alright.
you can spend that command counter. Go
So
ahead.
we see that Jolnar
We
is
see,
researching
agreement.
gravity drive.
Go ahead and take your gravity
Hakan
drive.
is cashing in the research
Vaughn
agreement so that
researches
he can
gravity
also
drive. There's the token. Thank you.
gain
Where's
that
the
technology
full?
advance.
Is that Arc Prime? Yes. Okay. And Mage said yes. Researching anti-mass. Good to go. Thank you.
All right, so we did have a couple players skip out on tech,
Danor,
but I think actually the only person who didn't gain a tech was, of course, the Necro, who can't research tech. Schroeder, even though he didn't pay for it directly, did get a tech off of the research agreement. So we have the anti-mass deflectors, this basic blue tech for the Nalu. This will allow him to move through the asteroid field. This is the tech that is required in order
Not
to
to
do
lay
that.
it in empty
And it's
space.
also going to allow him to get one of his faction techs, the Hyper
These
Crystal Fighter
timings
2
are giving
unit
Barony
upgrade,
a
so his fighters can
really
be super
powerful
powerful.
stuff.
Let's see, we also
does
have
he do?
anti-mass
Like,
deflector research
he's
for
gotten-
blue, which
yeah,
is
he's gonna,
pretty classic. That's going to help
He
him
can
get
get
towards
both-
that
he can
Super
get
Dread
both
2, which he
objectives
doesn't
right now,
need.
actually.
The Super Dread
Wait,
2 is
what?
basically the big powerhouse.
Well, he could either
Oh,
get
God.
3
item
tech
for the
planets
L1s you would have.
or six outside the home
All right,
system.
Mage.
That's terrifying. But then,
And it is one of the 2 techs that he'll
Yeah.
need to adapt new strategies. Now, if it were me personally, I think I probably would have gone down
But
the
that
yellow
means he
tech tree,
wouldn't be able to move
because
on
once
his
he
home
gets
system, so
his
he'd have to choose
racial
one
tech
or
here,
the other.
inheritance
But, yeah,
systems, he could use this to
remove
immediately
that
jump
command token
to
and take the other 2 tech
Super Dread 2
specialties.
without getting any blue tech, any of
Yeah,
those
3 tech
prerequisites.
skips.
But I think going this route's going to cost him a little bit more in terms of the number of techs he's going to have to research to attain that objective.
For your
Tech
final
skip.
movement, go ahead and pass the turn.
The Barony
skip
start
objectives
with
are always hard, so it's
anti-mass.
definitely tempting to do that.
So they were able to
but
get Gravity Drive, the
I think
next
it's
tech
what
up
he
the
does.
blue tech tree, which allows
I
them
am
to,
absolutely tempted.
after
to do
activating
the
system,
tech skips.
apply
And in
+1
fact,
to the move value of a
Janor,
single
I'm
ship
glad you took
during
that
attack
planet
action.
because I was sorely tempted. to
Yeah, I
gravity
know.
drive
I
and
know. Hey, man. You
Still kind of
figured-
am, but you know,
Yeah, sure.
that'd be pretty
Well, we
not
talked about
diplomatic.
what that looks like. Yeah, that's fine.
Gravity
but
Drive
we
is
can-
also
we
the
can
tech
be
that
friends.
Jolnar
I
and by
know you
extension the
do that,
Hakan
and
gained.
I'm a fan of that. So
So we can
especially
see
if
that
you have a
they wanted that extra movement so they could get to
barbarian
some
horde.
of the other
on the other side.
systems in their slice, which are a little bit further away from their home
do you
systems.
have any thoughts on your warfare timing?
Oh, my warfare timing is to be as slow as possible. Screw you guys.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like actually every player did draw action
we can work
cards, which is
something
super interesting. So let's
Absolutely.
talk about that real quick, starting with the politics player. They picked up reparations and morale boost. Neither of those are particularly interesting. Morale boost, of course, a combat card that could help them in the future. Reparations is pretty situational. When someone else takes one of their planets, they can exhaust their opponent's planet and refresh one of their own, which is, that could be really good in a situation where they can refresh, null, get that 5 resources back, but it's not exactly something you can rely on or plan for, so it's kind of a weird card. The Knight of Spades has picked up a morale boost as well, and Lucky Shot, which is such a trash card. Very, very situational. I doubt we actually get to see that played this game. Schroeder picked up an upgrade and confusing legal text. Another super situational card that really has one practical use,
just gotta be
probably won't
better
see,
safe
so
than sorry.
I don't know if we'll even talk about that. Upgrade, after you activate a system that contains one or more of your ships, you can replace a cruiser in that system with a dreadnought from your reinforcements. So if they were to activate this system right now, they could turn this cruiser into a dreadnought, which is kind of cool.
Barony, are we going to be trading?
Yeah, I will be moving a destroyer out to cover the wormhole, and we can trade.
Now, the wormholes do allow you to be neighbors with other people across the board. So, for instance, these 2 tiles are considered adjacent because they share beta rules. Just like this system here is adjacent to this system all the way over here.
Neighbors first. Or kind of dirt. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about plopping a cruiser right here and maybe trading with Jolnar if you'll have. And then
After all of your blustering,
I've
just testing the waters.
Yeah, I already made a trade agreement though. I mean, with Schroeder. Like I've got 6 trade goods coming my way. You know.
So look further at some. This is wonderful.
I wish
Unaligned Magi is playing the Necrovirus. Let's take a look at the Necrovirus real quick.
I still have
they cannot vote on agendas. Once per agenda phase, after an agenda is revealed, you may predict aloud the outcome of that agenda. If your prediction is correct, you gain 1 technology that is owned by a player who voted.
We're talking right now because I'm thinking about putting a cruiser right here in the
technological
beta.
singularity. Once per combat, after one of your opponent's units is destroyed, you may gain 1 technology that is owned by that player. Propagation. You cannot research technology. When you would research a technology, gain 3 command tokens instead. So they absorb the technology of others, and typically requires them to get enough fights to do so, which is why on paper they seem like the aggressive fighty race, and people don't usually play them in a very diplomatic way. But we've seen Unaligned Magi play in a much more diplomatic way, which I do anticipate seeing again in this game, especially with this pick of trade. But the action cards he has are Bribery and Veto, which are 2 very specifically agenda phase related cards. Bribery is something he'll literally never get to use because he can't cast votes. Veto is potentially useful, and he could use that to throw an agenda away that could potentially hurt him somehow.
I mean, I know that timings end up being non-binding that way, but just want to throw that out there.
Right.
Necro, if you can't find a trade partner, if you go to the A instead, I can put a ship in this A, and we can trade 3 for 3.
So Purple has picked up Courageous at the end and Fire Team. Fire Team helps you with ground combats, and Courageous at the end is kind of an interesting card. It's probably not very good
you can't activate a system
Jolnar
and
because
put trade at the same
Jolnar,
time,
let's take
so
a look
there's
at
no
them.
difference between you going here and then popping trade, or you going here and then popping.
He won't have a
These guys kind of discuss the logistics of how this trade card is going to work.
Jolnar, I know that you're stressed for timing.
Has a -1 to their combat rolls.
I'm willing to do a deal with you in my favor if you want to pop trade right now because you don't have any other people that can trade with you.
I would be willing to trade you my 3 commodities and my trade agreement for your trade. Even Stevens, but
I'm not going to do any sort of trade that makes it so that I can't do my deal with Jolnar. Right. That's the issue.
Man, you guys
I need to still have 6 trade goods at the end that I can give Jolnar.
I'm real sorry, Magi. I didn't mean to put you in that position, but I had to look elsewhere because it wasn't looking good.
They also, when they spend a command token to resolve the secondary ability of the technology card, they may resolve the primary ability instead, which means even though they don't have the technology strategy card, they were able to do this primary ability up here at the top, research 1 technology for free, with the opportunity to spend 6 resources to research a second technology.
I mean, I see you hovering over it.
They research that technology that is not in an upgrade, they can ignore prerequisites. They can get up to the higher level techs much quicker than that.
Fighting a lot with Jolnar is not something that scares me.
Sure, yeah.
So Courageous to the end, because Jolnar have -1 to their attack rolls, makes Courageous to the end a little bit worse overall. But we'll see if maybe he can make good use of that card. He could also potentially sell it to the Hakan.
Completely play nice as long as I was getting half of your tech.
Yeah, I get it. Like I said, we could have done something, but we didn't end up there. So
actually, hey, Magi, I might be willing to just do a 3 for 3 with you if you also refresh Nine of Spades, because I think that I could probably make a deal with Nine of Spades if he has 3 commodities. Do you agree, Nine of Spades?
Oh, I'm always open to negotiations.
Yeah, so like I would have no commodities and you would have 3 commodities, so I would be up for doing. If he did this, I would be up for doing a deal with you where you net gained 2 and I net gained 1. So the exact what would end up happening is Magi net gains 3, I net gain 1, and you net gain 2.
Yeah, it works
I
for
mean,
me.
and you're also still trading with Bill Nye. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess I'll trust you on that. I'll activate trade.
This is going to
First
be
things
a
first,
weird,
gain your 3
convoluted
trade goods and replenish your 3 commodities. Let me know who all you are replenishing.
Matt, you've been hearing me
So I should wait to
talk,
grab
right?
my commodities, right? Even though
Yeah,
I'm
I can hear you.
Do you think I'm doing a good job explaining
And
things
we
as
can
we
make
go?
this
Great.
binding.
I'm
by me
loving it.
just
I have you turned down
buying
very low,
your
so
trade
sometimes I
agreement,
tune
and
out
then
the
you can
specifics,
still do
but
your thing with Joel.
you're covering the bases like a
Yes.
mofo.
If you want to make it binding that way, I will sell you my trade agreement for your 3 trade goodies. Yeah, so long as you at the same time refresh Nine of Spades.
So let's talk about trade. You guys
I'll
are
do that.
are
So
seeing
I
some of these
will-
faction cards here. On the right hand side, it has a
That
little
is
commodities
the deal
area
that's
with
on
a
the table, and
number.
it's been made binding, so long as you are refreshing Nine of Spades.
The trade strategy card allows people to
And it's
gain
happening
their
when you
commodities.
refresh it.
Commodities do nothing for you. They are completely
sorry, I have
valueless.
pushed the
However,
button
when you
twice.
give them to another player,
I'm
those commodities
refreshing-
turn into trade goods.
So
So
you
basically,
haven't
Not
actually
Lulu
gained
and
it
Hakon
yet.
for sure, but
the
right
trade card allows people
Just
the
wanna make
ability
it very
to
clear
give
that
each other
the
money
transaction hasn't
with
technically
things that are
happened yet,
otherwise
so
useless to
because of
themselves.
making this binding.
Some factions have
Bill
more
Nye,
commodities available to them than
Bill Nye,
others.
are you going to-
The Barony of Letnev
for that free
and
for
the
a
Elwes
free
of Next, for
refresh, are you
instance,
gonna
only
let me
get
have one
2
little
commodities,
wiggle
which
in
is
the
the
future?
fewest any
One easy
faction can
tap.
have in the game.
If you,
The
you know
Jonar
what? I
start
mean,
with
I'm
4.
willing to make deals where I like.
So whenever they
I
refresh, they
spend
get up to
tokens
4
throw
commodities.
you ships, man.
Both the Nalu and the
I
Necrovirus
am not afraid of playing with the
start with
Necro
3
with
commodities.
Jonar, right?
Like right in the middle.
we can
Hakan
both have
is
lots
the
of tech,
they are the
that'd be great.
trade
I would
lions. They're the
love to do
masters of
deals.
trade.
I would love for us to
They
be
get
friends.
6 commodities.
I just couldn't
each
get on
time,
that first round. Like, nope, yeah, no,
the
I'm
trade
not paying tribute all
strategy
game,
card
man.
is activated.
I'm willing to refresh you for free, but I would like a tech in the future, an easy in the most painless way we can.
Sold. I will kamikaze something into you, no problem.
And I will also refresh Barony because we had already talked about it. So I'm refreshing everyone except L10X.
All right, so everyone replenish except for L1, and then Magi, you can finish any of your trading and then pass the turn.
So the holder of the trade card
Okay,
gains
and
3
then
trade goods for
Hakon
free,
trade
replenishes
goods.
their own commodities for free, and then may choose any number of other players who also get to
Do you ever
refresh
gain
their
your
commodities
3
for
trade
free.
goods, or did you
The
give
secondary
somebody?
is that someone
Yeah,
can
I get-
choose
oh,
to
I
spend a
get it.
strategy
I
token
get it.
to
The
replenish
timing
their
was a
own
little bit
commodities.
off because technically the deal happened when he said that he was refreshing Nine of Spades.
So I see everybody has replenished. So Magi, any other deals you have before it's the end of your turn?
Nope.
All right, we can pass to Vaunt.
So probably not the highest value trade round Magi has ever gotten. He
Thank you very
only
much.
vetted
Can you remind me again what I have
6.
talked about with you regarding refreshing?
But I think he'll probably get a couple more.
We
over
just
the
talked
course of this
about
round.
trading. We didn't have any real explicit deals. If you plop a destroyer here, though, I'd just
Drop a
Although-
story here. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, he'll watch you because he
Or-
wants to kill your destroyer. Yeah, makes sense.
Ah,
I mean,
yeah.
we'd talk about it before I.
Well,
do
yeah,
it.
but it makes sense. Yeah,
I'd also love for Warfare just to get popped, but it's your.
yeah, I would also love for Warfare.
And that is why, unless you guys pay me, I'm interested in installing it out.
I'll
don't-
wash you on my first chance.
So the
if
reason
you
they're
pop
interested in
Warfare.
warfare happening is the secondary warfare. We've talked about the primary before taking a token off the
no,
board, but
I
the
can't
secondary,
can't do
which I
that
realize
right now.
can't very easily be read because of the scoreboard, but the
I will
secondary
trade you
allows
my research
other
agreement
players to
for
spend a
you
token
to
from their strategy pool to produce
commodities.
with 1 space stock in their home system.
Just
Learn
have
it,
So
Jason.
the important thing about this is that it allows them to
Yeah,
build on their
we're
home
not
system
adjacent
without
yet.
activating
I
the
can't
home
do it. No, we would
system.
have to
So
get
whatever they
adjacent.
build, they can
It's
still
true.
use during this round. Whereas if
I
they
don't
built
need it.
by
So,
activating the
I
system,
don't need it, but I would
those
love
ships
it
would
right
basically
now.
be
It'd
unavailable to
really great
use
for me.
until the next round.
What do you need a build so you can take that system there?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So, I mean, what I'm offering you is a research agreement for two commodities, which is pretty darn good, man.
I do agree that's pretty darn good. I do want to take Wellon, just letting you know. Is that going to be a problem with your decisions this turn?
No. I mean, I don't need the tech skip. You know.
I understand you don't need a text it. Just wanted to be transparent.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
that's good.
so let me get ahead next to you, and then we can talk.
If you
about
guys have
that.
watched
Blue,
the
I
Space
have
Cats
not
Beast Turtles
forgotten,
episode
you
77,
either,
where
and I
they
will make
interview
sure
these
that I'm able
players,
to get next
I think
to
it's
you
very
so we
interesting
can
to see that
extract you.
everyone
Do I
is
need to give
very
you
much
Another turn, it's not-
playing pretty well into
No, I will move my
what their personalities were
destroyer
and
now.
how they were
that's
described
not
during and
for me.
after those interviews.
He's saying that doesn't help.
I need warfare now. Is what I need.
Right
That's why-
now. I see.
Right. That's why I'm offering.
Right
That's why.
now.
Right. That's why I'm offering so much for it. Right.
Tricky.
Not tricky. I'm trying
I mean,
to be open.
yeah. That's not what I meant. You know?
Otherwise, I can probably get more gum for my trade agreement on the market. You know what I mean?
I do understand what you mean. But by doing so, I can't trade with the Necro, which was kind of implied as well.
Yeah,
I think he could. He certainly could still trade the Necro. Just wouldn't be right away. I guess he would be
Yeah, I
giving away
can
the
tell I'm
commodities
not
for
going
the
to be able
research
to
agreement
fool
in
you
this
guys, so I'm
deal.
going to have to work with.
Wait, did you like?
Yeah.
Like it's like the mean face came off and the friendly face came off.
All right, so just that's something for everyone watching to learn. Just make sure you stand up to Magi, and then he will start playing like a real person again.
Don't give them all advice. It's
Well, yeah.
he's still gonna roll over one of us in space.
Oh yeah. At some point.
It's just a little too early to do that.
So while it's Vaught's turn, let's take a quick look at the Barony of Letnev's abilities
All
here.
right, so right
please
now,
talk
Jolnar, you really need me to pop
Yeah.
tech right now.
Yeah.
What he means is warfare.
Oh, you have no men. Yeah. Sorry.
I have no
that's
dudes.
correct.
That's my problem. No dudes.
All right, I will enter this agreement with you, and I will pop warfare.
All right. Getting that warfare, which means I believe the Barony, when they're neighbors,
Hopefully,
because
guys,
they're
this
not currently,
calculator works now. If Vaughn hits
exchange
play
these two
and you
the
decide to do the
commodities
secondary, you should get
for
the calculator.
Purple's
Just
trade agreement.
type out your build. Make sure you add if you
research
have
agreement, excuse me.
Sarween. But otherwise, you should be able to type out all your things, and then, I'm already seeing errors in script, so it might not work. You might have to type out your builds.
Okay, and I am moving my token off the board.
So
and
takes his token off,
right now,
puts it back into his tactics, and now these units are free to move again. So the Barony of Letnev have some cool abilities available to them.
It's still not working. I do see 2 fighters, 1 carrier.
The first one is munitions
So
reserves,
that
and
looks like
I
for
play a lot of
$3.
Barony, and the munitions reserves
good to
is
go.
very cool, but is
spend the command counter.
rarely used. At the start of each round of space combat, you may
Thank you, I
spend
see
2
it.
trade goods, and you may re-roll any number of your
Nazi
dice during that
warfare.
combat round. It's a very good ability, but because there are only 2 commodities for the Barony of Letnev, their trade game is generally
Schroeder, were you
good.
doing the secondary warfare?
So
I'm
they don't often
thinking-
have 2
Okay,
trade
got
goods
it.
to spend.
I see
Armada is the
Necro is.
the key
Necro,
ability for them, I
what's
think.
your
The maximum number of
build?
non-fighter ships you can have in each system is equal
all
to
right here.
2 more than the number of tokens in your fleet pool. So
do
they
I-
can
how does
really tank their fleet
buttons
supply pool
work?
early in the game and still have a
You should be
a
able
fleet
to.
presence.
It's fine. You're fine.
and use
I
those
don't know.
tokens
I'm
for other
getting
things.
So many script errors, none of them are working. But this build is good. You can do it.
It looks like he did rearrange one token here. So the warfare primary, one thing we didn't mention is that you can redistribute any number of tokens on your command sheet to other places. So he took he's actually taking 2 tokens out of fleet supply to put into
But are you
strategy,
using the secondary if you want to spend that
which
command
is
counter?
fine.
Thank
There
you.
are
Or
no
set
more
the command counter with your build. And I'll check
strategy
it all here in a
cards to be
Yeah.
played. They've all been activated, which is why they're
I
upside down.
see Jolnar's.
But those are going to be
Let's
probably
see,
used
2,
next
3,
round.
4. Yep, you're good.
But since he has 1 token still in his fleet supply, he still has a fleet capacity of 3 ships. Now, if you ever dip so low in your fleet supply that you have a fleet on the board that is over that fleet supply, you have to destroy ships down to your fleet supply. So, for instance, Jolnar now has 3 ships, a cruiser, a carrier, and a dreadnought in his home system. If he were to lose a token in his fleet supply somehow, which you can only really do that if you move one at the end of a round, he would have to destroy one of these ships.
2 infantry and a dreadnought. That's 4 costs.
Oh, I
after
see.
Sarween.
Got it.
Is that good?
Yeah, hit that build button and let me see if that works. Yeah, it drops all the stuff there for you.
Neato.
Perfect.
Is there
Right.
done with their secondaries?
That is the end of warfare. You can pass if you are done.
The Hakan have built themselves up a little bit of a fleet, and with gravity drive, they are going to be able to take Centauri Grawl at their leisure.
All right, 9 of spades.
9 of Spades also built an additional carrier here and is going to be able to take Houston Raron. A nice, fairly early activation of Warfare allows several of these guys to build up a couple extra ships and units so that they can take some more planets. We have another Dreadnought for Necro, which is, of course, no surprise, as we know that they do need to eventually bombard another player's planet to kill all the grav forces on it to score their secret objective. I would not be very surprised at all to see those 2 Dreadnoughts go over to Dabutha Zehan with a single grav force apiece, and this cruiser is probably going to reach out and try to pick up a technology somewhere. My guess is that Purple is probably going to take Techuran Torcan this round, maybe even this activation, and this red cruiser could very easily pop over there with its 2 movement to come over here and steal technology. Probably gravity drive is usually something the Necrovirus looks for very early to get that extra boost of movement on a ship. Alright, and there we go.
And that destroyer is meant for you. I will send it your way next turn.
All right, mage.
Oh, thanks, I appreciate that.
Pardon me, cruiser, not destroyer. You know what I mean. That thing.
Alright, so the L1s UNX who do not have that bonus movement from gravity drive, they only have anti-mass deflectors, are moving their dreadnoughts out to this empty space in front of their homeworld. The very cool thing about
so I will give you 2 and you give me the 3.
L1s UNX dreadnoughts is that, unlike most dreadnoughts, they have a capacity of 2, which means they can bring in 2 other units, either ground forces or fighters or any combination thereof, whereas everyone else's dreadnoughts can only carry 1.
Too much that I could still do that. Yeah.
Nice mathing.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, this turn of mine will be pretty simple. Gotta get that planet.
Alright, so with that gravity drive, this dreadnought is going to carry a single unit over to Tarman and take one of these equidistant planets here. This is interesting. I would very much expect this to be contested by the Nalu, because the Nalu are going to want a green skip later on in the game as they head towards their second Neuroglaive faction technology.
Exxon, send 2 dreadnoughts, 2 infantry.
Oh man, oh, I feel so smart. Look at this. It's happening, guys. It's happening. We got it right.
Good fleet you're building there.
Nailed it. Now these fighters are able to stay behind because there's a space dock here. Space docks have a capacity similar to carriers and dreadnoughts. Their capacity is 3. Of course, space docks are stationary.
And if you can get all the planets
but they're able to hold a few fighters outside of the capacity of carriers and dreadnoughts, so they can leave those fighters behind as a little bit of extra protection for that homeworld.
Do the trade, Purple?
Absolutely.
Now, Vaunt is...
Would you be less concerned if I sent the carrier or if I sent the dreadnought?
I think we can be friends this game, so you send what you need to send.
He absolutely should be sending...
the least threatening. I'm giving you the choice. You tell me.
I guess it doesn't
carrier is
matter,
less threatening.
He should be sending the dreadnought here, in my opinion, so that he can use the carrier to come take these planets with 2 ground forces. But now he's only going to be able to take 1 more planet.
Do I send another infantry? I should, just in case.
Jolnar's infantry are horrific. They're very scary.
Yeah.
As I have found out many times trying to use them to do anything.
Okay, here are 2 commodities.
But as far as these equidistant planets go, Wellon is pretty
looks
decent.
Like you will indeed.
Does give him a yellow skip, which I doubt he'll actually use much this game. But a 1-2 planet is also not too shabby to have around.
Pretty impressive.
And there he goes. Gets a research agreement out of that as well. So next round he'll get.
I had written it off as something
nice
I don't get.
Tech.
Yeah, so had I in the draft.
If I were him, I would actually try to get Jaynor to research Duranium Armor next round. If he could get a quick, free, easy Duranium Armor, that is going to be a huge jumpstart to his tech game.
Plus Sarween for 2 ground forces, 2 fighters, 1.
Looks good, thank you.
So you'll notice he spent 2 trade goods there. He built 2 ground forces, 2 fighters, and a destroyer. 2 ground forces
That's the turn when you're
cost
ready.
1 resource, 2 fighters cost 1 resource, and a
Sure.
destroyer costs 1 resource, which means he spent 3 resources. How did he do that? Well, he has a technology called Sarween Tools. When one or
What
more
are your
of
thoughts
your
on
units uses
Quan
production, and that means a space dock in this case, reduce the
really
combined
wanting
cost
Quan
of the
and
produced units by
Meyers
1.
next
So it's
round to be
basically
able to
a
switch
single
planets.
resource
Just
discount on each build activation.
Otherwise, like, I'm not scoring.
Right,
level two.
I dig it. Right, I dig it. Well, I'm willing to do friendly exchanges there. I'm also willing, by the way, to to feed your stuff as long as you indemnify my losses. You know what I mean? Like,
Pay you for the ships. Yeah.
right, yeah. And it doesn't even have to be like to my advantage. I don't think it's bad to have you be good and me be good. Okay.
We all know your philosophy.
Yeah. We all talked about our
Yeah.
our strategies. All right. Well, I'm gonna go there. This round. And then if you come in next round, what I'll do is I'll retreat, and I'll try to retreat, and then you'll be able to take the planet, and that'll be your, easy tech because I'll just have 1 dude on it.
Okay.
So the interesting thing will be actually if he tries to fight. I guess the dreadnoughts won't be in range of this planet, so he won't be able to bombard that planet without
All right,
getting
Mage.
gravity drive beforehand.
Mage passes. Schroeder.
Mage is done for the round.
All right.
Let's take a look at Hakan. Hakan has at least 1 more system
Let
to take here.
us get my
this
systems.
round. And there we go. And take their nice heavy influence system, Centaurian Grawl.
And I'm gonna have to replace this one with a real guy.
Very cool, very cool. There are going to be several players very well positioned to take Mechatol Rex next round.
Yeah, I'll leave.
Mechatol Rex is this planet right at the very center of the map. It's got a Custodian's token with a 6 on it, which means you can't land on this planet without first spending 6 influence. The first person to get here must spend the influence to land on the planet. Once they do, anyone else can land there for free.
All right, and
although presumably they'll have to fight the previous occupant.
Magi.
But once they spend that 6 influence, the first person who gets here gets this victory point, which is a permanent point no one can take away from them.
Copy that.
And the planet,
There's
of
a 4
course,
infantry.
itself is a 1/6. That is a hefty amount of influence to be able to pick up as well.
The flagship cometh.
Yeah.
Vaunt.
She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes.
When she comes.
She'll be riding
acting
6
system.
horses when she comes.
When she comes.
All right. Vaunt taking
And
both
Mage,
equidistant
you want to do this
systems.
trade? I need to pay you. I owe you.
Mm-hmm.
So he is exchanging his ceasefire with blue, and he cannot.
Can't do both at once. Just so you're aware, you'll have to do one later.
So
There's one right now, and then next turn I'll give you the other one.
So the ceasefire promissory note
Sounds good.
basically allows the player who holds it to end
He's
another
already
player's
passed, so it
action.
has to be my
So
next
they try to activate a system of your own
Okay,
with your
that's
units in
then
it.
my
So he now
action.
has White's ceasefire. So if White tries to attack him, the first time that happens, Blue can
Yes.
just say no. Stop. The other promissory note was the
A9 passes. Janor passes.
Faction
Mage
promissory
has
note,
already
which
passed.
basically gives
Schroeder.
another player the
Nothing
munitions
else I
reserves
can do,
ability.
so I'll pass.
Schroeder passes. Magi.
We are reaching the
That
end
passes
here. Everyone's kind of
Vaunt.
run out of steam for round 1, except Vaunt, who is
I'll
going
build
to
a mound
use
system.
a couple
Thing.
of
You're the last one on the
resources.
round, so you just tell me when you're good.
And he's doing that other trade now.
Don't need to flip that yet. Yeah, let's do the trade now.
All right. So those
Only
two
have
promissory
two,
notes exchanged hands
resources. I
in
believe it's
exchange
gonna
for the
be
speaker token going 1 space to the right here.
4 fighters. No, 2 fighters, 2 ground forces, maybe, or 4 ground forces. That might be the better choice. I'll go with 4 ground forces.
Okay. 4 ground forces, all on Arc Prime. It is your turn again.
So anytime you build ground forces in a system, those ground forces must be
can't move
placed
them to
either
a
in
ring?
space
No, you
if
cannot.
there's capacity,
Yep, they build out of a space dock.
or on a
that's it.
planet with a space dock on it. So they can't go into Rentera without a space dock there.
In that case, I believe that I will be doing 2 fighters instead, please.
Fighters, 2 ground forces.
I think this is the best choice. It's unlikely that the L1Z1X will be able to fly in there, but it is possible
Turn again,
that
Vaughn.
maybe they'll come
Yes,
up
and
with
then I'll be
a
passing.
flank speed.
Alright, so
which gives
all
them
players have
extra bonus
passed.
movement
9 of spades, you are first in initiative
to
order.
get
Do you
there
have
and,
any
and sneak
public
into
or
this
secret
homeworld, which would
objectives that
be
you
devastating.
can
So get a couple ships in there. To protect them
Janor.
just in case.
claim? Mage. Schroeder.
Nope.
Unaligned Magi.
Nope.
And Vaunt.
Yes, I will be scoring 3 tech skips.
All right, very cool. Found
All
research
right, 3
outposts.
tech specs puts Barony at 1. All other players are at 0. Your third stage 1 public objective is corner the market. Control 4 planets that each have the same planet trait.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I'm gonna deal out action cards.
So,
Who does not
Let's talk a little bit
have
about planets
neural?
and what just happened.
Looks
So
like yellow,
Just
Barely
red,
scored.
and
Red.
found research outposts, which requires
Yellow,
you to
red,
have
white.
3
Oh, no.
planets with tech
Right,
specialties
yellow, red,
attached
white.
to them.
Yellow, red,
And
white.
those tech specialties are these red and blue and yellow little things here. There's also green ones. There's one up here on New Albion. This little symbol next to the resource number here. Those are tech specialties.
All right, everyone should have their action cards.
That allows you to exhaust
so now
the planet
it's all time for you to
skip
do
a
the
res-
rest
a
of your
tech
homework.
prerequisite when you're doing
We will
tech
take a
research.
short little break after we are done with the status phase. I think we'll just call it like a 2 to 3 minute break.
Now the 4 traits.
The last thing you should do is hit that return button on your strategy card. I want to make sure you've done
I wanna
everything
talk
else
over Matt
first.
so
So make sure you
much.
hit your get tokens, gain and redistribute your command tokens. Everyone gets 2 currently. Flip your planets, etc. There's no agenda phase, so there's no need to total up influence, and then return your strategy card.
So the traits that this new objective requires are the
who
little symbol
shuffled
attached
this,
to the name of these planets. That we have industrial, which is the
action
green
That'd be me.
type here.
I shuffled
we
it
have
like a
hazardous,
thousand
the red
sabotages
type here
already,
on mirror,
and
and then we have
Wait, no, I have 4
cultural
sabotages.
planets,
Damn.
which are Cornique and Resculon, for
There's
instance.
8 sabotages in your
So a
deck.
player must have 4 of a kind in order to score
It's
this
really,
objective.
it's especially weird
So
because
the
you know,
Barony
I
have 3
I
already.
only have 3
You're
cards.
going to have
but
to go
I've
up
got 4
here probably to
sabotages.
pick up a 4th one somewhere,
And
which means you're probably going to end up having to fight someone to pick up that objective.
I will be right
public
back, and then I want to
disgrace
hear
and
about the
unexpected
round from
action.
your
I don't know what you did.
Sure, buddy.
Yeah, in my 4 cards. I
Yeah.
got 6
So
cards.
Barony had a pretty great round. Once Matt gets back, we'll talk about how good
It's
that round
crazy,
was and
Matt.
why it was so good. Let's see. Is there anything else I can talk about?
Alright, AFK 1
Planets.
minute.
Planets are cool. Planets remain under your control even when you move units off of them, unless someone else moves ground forces there to take it from you, which is what these control tokens are
Yep,
for.
AFK as
Just
well.
to indicate to other people that you own that planet to avoid any confusion or whatnot. But we have a lot of control objectives that have come up. We have 6 planets, 3 tech specialty planets, 4 traits of a kind. This is going to be a very fighty game amongst these largely diplomatic players. So it's going to be very interesting to see who chooses to try to make deals for these planets and who tries to just go all out and fight for the planets that they need.
Schroeder, are you done with your status phase? Are you going to return that construction card?
Oh, yep. Sorry, thank you.
You're good. So let's do like a 2-minute break, guys. My clock says 3:54, so let's call it 3:57. So 57, 3 minutes shy of an hour. We'll reconvene.
Hey, Matt.
Hey,
This was a pretty great round. Everybody came out of it with something probably above average. Even the L1Z1X, who only took 1 system, came out of it with war funding and white ceasefire, which is nothing to shake a stick at.
Yeah.
Barony, of course, is the one player who scored a point with the 3 tech specialties, which is great to get out of the way immediately. Is not in a terrible position. They're a little bit spread out, so this next round is going to be a little treacherous for them. They're going to have to build up some ships and make sure they stay friendly with their neighbors. Jolnar did Jolnar stuff. They traded away their research agreement not once but twice. Took some planets, got their gravity drive, sort of made friends with the Necro, which was kind of funny. That those diplomatic relations already almost broke down.
that
was
whole
pretty sketchy.
trade
His
kerfuffle
seat has it
was
rough
pretty great.
for
Yeah,
four
it
in
was
one
pretty
color.
strange. Necro, I think, is doing
I think
fine.
pretty much every
He's
seat-
setting himself up well for later
Magi
rounds.
is okay. He's got 3
So I don't know if you heard,
reds,
but he has make an example
and
of their
because of the
world as his
graph
objective,
lift,
I
which
he's
is
didn't
kind of
hang
funny.
on.
there,
Hang on,
or
I gotta
he tried to
kind of
get,
turn down these players.
But, like,
torque right.
Any seat to take one, you're not just taking an
gonna
equidistant, you're
deafen
also
myself.
taking.
Just let me know when to undeafen myself from the Discord. Anyway, so Magi has make an example of their world, so that's kind of why he built the additional
extra.
Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Schroeder has Fuel the War Machine, which is great as the last pick in the first round, being basically forced to take Construction anyway, so he's in a good place to score that pretty easily. And he took 3 systems, which is pretty nice as the Hakan. He got Gravity Drive for free, basically, and made out pretty well on trade. Nolly
How do you
did
feel
fine.
about L1's Dreadnought in empty space?
I mean, it's
kind of necessary, right?
it's kind of necessary. Like, it means that he's not forced to wait for tech next round before he can take Arnor Lore.
Yeah.
And it feels kind of harsh to have to spend a token to get out into empty space, but I do think it was necessary. Yeah. I'm sure he didn't like having to do it, but I do think it was the right play. Nalu did fine. They got a second system, which is always hit or miss with Nalu. It's very easy to screw that up and not get that second system. And they got a tech because they had the tech cards, so he did go for anti-mass, so he can get Fighter 2 pretty easily. I expect there to be some fighting between him and Hakan over Tarman, because I very much expect him to want that green skip for Neuroglaive.
I think some players are about to do a secret conversation. Yep, Mage and Schroeder. Mage and Schroeder are doing secrets.
Pressure planets.
All right, I'll go.
Oh,
I'll hunt him down.
Root was deafened in the channel. Root, you might.
Wait, hang on. There we go. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Sorry. What do you
So
think?
these are our white and blue players.
Whatever. I will give you the first pick, obviously, as part of our deal. Also,
Yeah,
I
but
want to talk about where we want to make our demarcation. Like, I'm fine vacating this planet. I understand that, but it's a small planet, right? Like,
Sorry,
if
guys.
you're already
I
going
just
upwards, you might
realized I
have
didn't
bigger
have
fish
those
to
other
fry
ones
that way.
open to you
I won't
guys, so
contest
should
you
all
anything.
now. Do you
But
all
those
see both
beautiful
final
2
secrets
green
now?
planets, which are the ones I would need for the
Yeah.
objective.
You can probably score the other objective this round anyway, so it's probably okay. I think for you.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be too. It shouldn't be too hard to
I'll
take the
be
2
able to
right
jump
next to
into
you.
How can we help you and make sure that you
summary.
get what you need without having to punch me in the face?
Hunter and EJ will
Well,
be staying.
I
in
just
tourney
wanted to
finals.
know what I'm happy to be pretty accommodating in terms of letting you pick the strategy card you want. So if you want to take like tech or something, or like I don't know, what do you think? What do you want to take? What are you thinking of taking?
Right now, I'm looking at either leadership, because of course we all want command counters. Maybe trade. Maybe diplomacy for the extra secrets. Sorry, diplomacy for Imperial for the extra secrets. That's what I meant.
I didn't know diplomacy could get you secrets. Yeah. All right. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you can go with whatever any of those. I'm cool.
But if you have any preference, if you have anything that you want, of course I'll give you the first choice there.
Yeah, no. Yeah, any of those are fine. I don't think I'm gonna go for any of those. So, yeah, do whatever works for you. I guess you might also be able to make a Mechatol play. I guess or a couple extra.
Well, yeah, it's either me or it's gonna be Jolnar or Hakan.
Yeah, if you take. Yeah, well, maybe Imperial's tough at that point, right? But even leadership will get you that, and you obviously have Iron on Mir, so it's already in the bag. Cool. Well, I'm not going for Mechatol, but I probably will go for those Arnor Lore planets right there. So yeah, any of the ones that you said is fine. I think I'll be all okay with any of those. All right, cool. Just wanted to get a sense of that. I think we're good here.
Okay, I think we're good here too then.
Sounds good.
All right, so we're just we're privy to a secret conversation between the Barony and the L1Z1X, kind of sussing out exactly the boundaries of what their relationship is going to be here. It sounds like the Barony of Letnev kind of was interested in acquiring Arnor Lore for this 4 of a kind of traits.
So who's talking right now?
Schroeder and 9 of Spades. It looks like.
You guys left us.
But
all
I don't
alone.
think L1Z1X.
So you guys can have your own
I'm
secret conversation.
in another secret conversation. Do you want to hop in here?
Alright.
It's really just Schroeder and 9 like talking through
Maybe,
everything. They seem to have this sort of like
I could.
personality alliance. I don't know.
I
They're
don't know.
just
Let
trying
me
to
spend
establish a
Tarman
lot.
and then give you my trade agreement to let me spend it on a tech skip next round.
that sounds okay to me.
These are our yellow and green players.
I mean, so this will be your 6th planet.
If L1
You'll-
doesn't come
yeah.
this way, because he also needs 6, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
he's just gonna.
I mean, here's the thing. If I end up
Guys,
taking
we are
Mechatol
back, but we're
Rex
just
this round
we're waiting on
and,
some secret
Necro
conversations.
doesn't take a point from me,
Vaunt,
then
you are
I'm
the
not
speaker.
okay
You'll be
with
first
it,
to pick strategy
'cause,
cards,
you know,
and you are
then that
welcome
would
to
be a
start
point
doing
for
so.
me.
But if you want to wait for the players to return,
Right.
that is your prerogative.
But I mean, the deal that you have on the table doesn't sound unreasonable. It's just that there are things that could get in the way of it.
Yeah, I understand. So tell you what, we'll jump back in.
Yep.
When
And
the
we'll see what
time's right,
happens.
I'll offer it to you. You just tell me
Okay.
yes or no. But that's the deal: is after you've spent it, let me take it and spend it on a tech skip next round, and I'll give you my
Yep.
trade agreement for letting me do that.
Okay. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Thanks.
As I
That's a
thought,
good
9 of
question.
spades, the Nala player is going to
Oh,
want that green tech skip.
I would like to take Theba. I'm not sure if that's workable, but it is kind of in my wheelhouse too. And you already did score the
All right, Vaunt, our players have returned, so feel free to go whenever you're ready.
Sure. 1 second. So, Mage, I'm totally fine providing you with Theba. I just wouldn't want to do it for free, right? I mean, you can make a small deal, or
Yeah, I'm happy to deal with you when it becomes our turn and we can deal with activations and bindings and stuff.
okay, not a problem. I believe I'll be taking leadership. Where's those cards?
Yep, you're getting Mechatol Rex.
Well, unless you want to say something about it, I'm fine not taking Mechatol Rex.
I mean, I was gonna try to get Mechatol Rex myself this round just because it's pretty hard to get points right now, so I was hoping to get that Mechatol Rex point.
And that's exactly why I don't want you guys to get those points.
Alright.
So taking leadership
leadership
has that
for-
#1 initiative, which would allow Vaunt to play first. And if he so chose, he could go to Mechatol Rex, spend the 6 influence, which he has very easily with Aaron Amir here, and score that free custodian point.
What does that mean? The order has nothing to do with it.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, it goes up there.
No, I'm just messing around.
9 of spades, you're up.
You guys were in a
Yeah,
secret
just,
conversation.
Oh yeah, that was just to decide who wanted.
So this is an
what
interesting pick, Warfare, for the L1 UNX. I'll be very interested
Your
to see what he
explanation
does
was
with that
solid
card.
there right till the end.
Now we're picking up trade. I kind of like
That
that.
was just to decide who took which of your
Just
planets.
numbers, man.
You should be able
Cards,
to
numbers.
Pick up some
terms.
good trade
Cars,
goods
numbers,
and
turns.
trade
It's
deals with that.
all hard.
Yeah, it's being silly.
So Schroeder, now that he knows
Jesus.
Barony is going to be going for Mechatol Rex as soon as possible, needs to make a choice about what his plans
Yeah, that's
are
what
for
you
this
got, huh?
round. It's interesting the tech has not
Hey,
been picked yet.
Jolnar, I feel like if I don't take tech, Necro might not, just to deny you because he will probably try to.
Well, I
extort.
would never
I think
deny.
Necro will take his six
Worth
commando.
noting,
That's
Root.
what I think he'll
Nalu
take.
could easily take Mechatol.
Yeah, if
from
you don't take tech, I'm
Barony.
taking it. If you do take tech, I'm taking politics, and I'm not.
He's
giving
got
you
6. He's got
Yeah,
initiative
but take
override.
politics,
Does,
and
but he
I'll
doesn't
take
have-
second pick, and then I'll
He
take
doesn't have
tech.
2 movement though for the carrier, so
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
he
you're right. He doesn't
does.
have-
He
I don't
did
know
not
a
pick up
Necro who wants
I saw the
Speed pickup.
Animask and was like, oh, he does have
I
it. but
usually
then you're
don't
right, he doesn't
actually,
have
because
the
I'd
other
rather
part of it.
people get more tech.
Ah,
I'd like some command counters.
But yeah, in this scenario, for sure, yeah, you just gotta do what you gotta
if
do.
it falls to 5, yeah, I don't know, man. Shit, if it fell to 6, I'd take damn tech. You know,
I mean, you might, if you don't take politics, you're picking last next round. So. And I'm not trying to be
Right, yeah.
aggressive with that. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah, that's fair.
We just saw what happens when you pass speaker. You get
Yeah.
someone gets the first pick and jumps Mechatol when they already have the public.
It is interesting. If Barony goes for Mechatol Rex, they're going to be pretty
At the same time,
widespread
though,
and well in the lead and sitting on
could
Mechatol
risk
Rex,
it
which
for the
could
biscuit
very
and take
easily
the
make them
Imperial.
public enemy #1.
and whatever white brings in there, I could try to beat the force afterward.
I mean, he's only bringing in a dreadnought, a destroyer, and a single infantry.
Yeah, I can't bring in much more than that. I can bring in like a dreadnought, a carrier, and 3 infantry.
oh yeah, he has
So-
fleet split too.
Root, did you write down that time code for
Interesting.
Oh wow.
your round
Yeah.
wrap up to me?
Ooh,
Or a
I
Dreadnought, a
didn't
carrier,
exactly,
a
but I
fighter,
should be able to fight it
and
pretty
a bunch of
easily.
infantry.
Let's say it was
But
about
then he leaves his slice
10 minutes
way
ago.
open.
So about 120.
Yeah, I don't want to
Four-ish.
take the risk of taking Imperial and then not being
Thank
able
you.
to beat whatever fleet he brings in there. So I'll take politics.
Politics for Schroeder is definitely the right choice. Tech for Unaligned Magi. So as we mentioned, the Necro can't research tech, so that's going to give him a bunch of extra tokens this round. And a construction pick for Jolnar, leaving Diplomacy
those
and
PPSs up, huh?
Imperial as the bastard children for round
Not a
2.
bad thing.
All right, everyone has picked a strategy card. We're now in the action phase of round 2. 9 of spades as the Nalu. You're up first.
And 9 of spades with that 0 token gets to play first
I don't think
every
we should be hurting
round.
each other. I think we're both in an iffy situation.
Let's take a look
You
at
say
Nalu's
that.
abilities here. Telepathic, we've already talked
But
about.
at the
It's
same
the
time,
end of
I'm
the strategy
pretty sure
phase.
you
They
want
place
that
their
fourth
0 token on the
hazardous.
strategy card. They are always
He
first in
only
the
has
initiative
2
order.
right now.
Foresight is a little
I mean,
interesting.
I'm gonna
After
pop
another
tech on
player
my
moves
first
ships
turn,
into a
and
system
there's
that contains
certain
one or more of
techs
your
that
ships,
help
you
me
may place 1 token
tremendously
from your
develop.
strategy pool in an adjacent system that does not contain another player's ships and move your ships into the active system. It's kind of like a free skilled retreat. It's a very defensive ability.
All right, Vaughn.
So Nalu does take
Well,
Lodor
I am
with
always
his
willing to make a
carrier
deal.
and fighters here.
Hakan, what are you willing to pay me to not take Mikatul Rex?
Ooh, spicy.
Oh,
See, if he can get a good deal here, I think it would be a wiser choice to take a good deal
well,
and get a
let me
little
think for a
richer
moment.
rather
So
than
if you didn't take
overextend
Mechatol
himself and
Rex,
take
then
Rex.
I would be able to take it myself. Yeah.
And you're next, so you don't get cut out. So
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
I like this. I like this offer a lot, and I'm surprised that I didn't see this coming from Vaunt, being our
I could offer you
very diplomatic
this.
player, the diplomat himself.
Do I really want to?
dry situation, man. Where are those points? Where are they kind of come from?
Yeah, I get it, man. Yeah. Fuck it, I guess. I'll offer you this.
All right,
I'll
so this is
give
a
you
great
this
time to talk
action
about Hakon's abilities. We've already kind of talked about how they can trade with
So should I
anyone
add it to my
on the
hand,
board.
or
Well,
They
take a look
always
at it and see if
You can either hit Alt and Shift at the
refresh their
same time, Vaughn,
commodities
or you're
every
allowed to
time
pull
the
it into your
trade
hand.
happens,
Either one
no
is fine.
matter they don't have to pay for that.
And
with
let's
the
just
strategy
make
token.
it better. Like,
And they are the only
I'll-
faction
I'll
in the game
do it
that
so
can
long as they
trade
have
action
leadership be
cards,
your
which is
first
pretty
action.
huge. So they're offering right now a sabotage
Good
card,
sir.
which is
I
probably
do
one of
understand
the
that's
most
valuable,
powerful
but
action
it's
cards.
not 1
in the
point's
game.
worth value.
all right. I mean,
You got a
Sabotage is essentially a counterspell. It can negate any other action card of the game except for other sabotages.
well then, tell me what you think is 1 point's worth of value.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, you do have a very nice promissory note. That's basically a point right there in terms of goods, right?
As in my trade convoys, or
no,
literally
as in
support. Oh,
your-
literally support for the throne.
Well, no, I was talking about
I think he
6
meant
trade goods.
6 trade goods. Yeah.
Oh,
Woo, that kills all your trading power.
For this
it
round.
does. It does. Yeah.
Most of it, anyway. You can still
Well, I
watch
still
people.
have
but-
4 trade goods.
I mean, it's 6 commodities, and a victory point is roughly 5 trade goods. So
You know. All right. I will give you my trade agreement in exchange for you pop. Wait, I don't even care about you popping leadership first action, do I? Because
No.
He's probably not buying many tokens with the influence. He's got to
count.
spend those to take Mechatol Rex. He could buy one if he doesn't need his tech skips. He could spend Grawl and
It's a
Tarman
little bit
and
of an
this
expensive
homeworld
point, maybe, but
planet with his a
yeah,
single influence
but
on it.
it's still a
They
point.
get 1 extra
it
token.
is still a point. It's true.
But
All
he's
right.
He's gonna be spending
Yeah, so long as you
Centauri
pop
and
leadership as your
Alberta
first
4
action.
to basically buy this custodian's token.
Popping leadership is my first action. Well, I deeply am thankful for your offer, but if that's the offer, then I do believe that I'll be taking the Mechatol Rex point myself.
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yep.
It was a very tempting offer, but I think
Yep. I get it.
I think this is the way it needs to go.
All right, so Barney is going to make this play for Mechatol Rex himself.
I need to spend 6 influence to go in.
He does indeed need to spend the 6 influence, which is very easy for him with the Air Mirror system, but with that 6 influence on it.
Go with
I'm not sure I super love this play
Here's
just
my
because I
influence
do
cost.
feel like he's going to be
Tap him. I'll grab the point.
very extended.
Bring it
with
over
very
here.
few
Barony
ships
goes
on the
up
board.
1 point.
He's going to be a little exposed,
So I
especially
guess
if
the
L1
surmise
decides
from
to
that
get
you
frisky
plan
here
to
at
stall
all.
everyone out on leadership.
It's going to put
Well, it doesn't
potentially
hurt me.
Barony in a very tough
Yeah,
spot.
yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Hey, Vaughn. You know I'm probably gonna go for Theba, so I'm.
Yes, you're
or at
right.
least it's a possibility. I'm just letting you know because your destroyer might get attacked.
That's a very fair point.
That's not even a threat. I'm
Sure,
just saying
sure.
that's one of my possibilities.
All right, Schroeder.
All right, now that Hakan cannot take that free custodian's point, let's see what he's going to do with that. Let me actually put that up on the scoreboard for us as well.
yeah,
From
I
1 MR
will
point, putting him up to 2,
Activate
taking
my
a
home
very
system
solid
to
lead.
build.
Hakan is just going to build a bunch of ships right away. Okay, interesting. Not even waiting for warfare to make that happen.
Well, before the build step, I'm still in the movement step, so I will play
yes.
upgrade.
So we've got this action card.
Okay.
He's going to turn
After
the
you
cruiser, which he
activate,
left
you can
there
turn that
last
cruiser
round,
into a
a dreadnought,
Well played, sir.
which is always
Yep,
great.
thank you.
The
Building
key
looks
thing
like
to note
5
there is if he
resources.
built off of warfare, he's not activating the system
you doing
with
any
that ability. So this is the only way he could
No.
build in the system
No.
and turn that cruiser into a dreadnought at the same time. It does mean, of course, that those ships that he builds right now are going to be locked down for the rest of the round because he has a token in that system. So he'll be looking to use those ships sometime next round. But at least he'll have a nice big sizable fleet and make himself look like a less tempting target to the Necros research ships. Have we not talked about anyone's abilities? I think we haven't talked about L1. Let's talk about the L1 UNX Mind Net a little bit real quick.
And then
They have
sure,
2
I'll
very
build
cool
another
abilities here,
dreadnought.
which do make
No, I
them
can't
appear to
tell
be a very warlike race as well. But they have Assimilate. When you gain
No, no,
control
no,
of a
no,
planet,
no, no.
replace each PDS and space stock that is on that
So-
planet with a matching unit from your
Wait, no,
reinforcements.
never spend trade
Normally, when
goods
you
when
take a
you
planet
spend planets.
with a PDS
I
unit
can't.
or a
can't.
space
I'm
stock
out of
on it,
money.
they
I'm
just
out
get
of money, I'm out
destroyed.
of money.
The
No, I'm
L1
not.
UNX
I'm
Mind
not.
Net gets to replace
Sorry,
their
I
own,
mean,
which is
I was originally thinking
really
so much
neat.
about Mechatol Rex that I had to pivot to a lot for the build. Sorry.
Harrow. After each round of ground combat, your ships in the active system may use their bombardment abilities against your opponent's ground
Okay,
forces
so
on that
this is
planet.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Normally, when you
5, 6,
bombard,
7,
you get a
8.
single bombardment
I need
set,
9,
bombard
so one
one
trade
time, and
goes.
then
Well, keep
it's
in mind
done.
this calculator is accounting for Sarween, so you've got 8 in dreadnoughts and then 2 more, so you're a total of 10.
So if the L1 UNX
Yeah,
get
so
into
Sarween.
combat,
Oh, I see.
they have a
Okay, you're pulling
dreadnought
out
in
the
the
trigger
system.
right now. Yep, got
and
it.
it's
I didn't
ground
know.
combat
I
with a
wasn't
lot of
listening
ground
to you.
forces.
You're
They
good.
can just
All right, thank you.
bombard over and over and over again as long as that combat lasts, which is a huge help for those ground combats. It's the oh my, all right. The Hakan are putting this home system to very good use here, building a whole bunch of ships, 2 dreadnoughts, 4 fighters. I did just realize that I think the other reason he's building right away is because he's going to be able to follow construction in this system without having to worry about locking down the system prematurely. Because again, he does
And
want
when
to
you're
fuel
done,
the war machine,
pass that turn
get
to
those
Daynor.
3 space docks on the board, and having a 3rd space dock in his
Daynor,
own world is going
don't
to be
feed me
pretty
the tech
powerful.
yet. I'm gonna pop tech on my first turn, and then if you could get Dreadnought 2, that would really go a long way for me. Like, I can go one the other way, you
I
can go the other
gotcha.
way. Like,
I understand what you're saying. So, Vaughn, I gotta talk to you, dude.
Sure, let's talk.
I'm pretty sure if I blockade your home system right now, you won't win this game.
That's pretty spicy.
And I can
Okay.
do it, right? With 1 token, with just my 1 dreadnought, I can take your 2 fighters.
Well, maybe. It would be a fight.
Okay.
But this is what happens when you
I'm
overextend
a little
yourself
stuck,
and
right?
take
Because
2
I don't have a
points.
path to a point this round at all. I'm wondering if you can suggest something that would make it not make sense for me to like at minimal cost, cripple the player, another player. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I hear what you're saying.
You absolutely could score
That's a
6
very good
planets
argument.
if you
Oh,
take
yeah.
well in.
I have
yeah.
some things I can offer you. Anywhere from my support for the throne to other things. Would that be considered a point?
So the support for the throne is a point. It means I can't go into you, so it means I'll be stuck in my slice.
I can also
'Cause I can't go into
retreat
Necro
from
either, right?
Welland as well. That's not a problem either.
Yeah, man, that would be fine. Let's do that.
So just
I
to
would have
recap,
loved-
I'm offering you my support for the throne for free, and I will be removing myself from Welland.
And
in
I will
exchange, you will not be attacking my home system.
Yeah, I won't.
Can
I
you
won't.
offer me anything in exchange so it doesn't look like it's completely
Right, I get it. I mean, and I'm real sorry. I was looking at him like, oh man, he left himself.
This is
open.
the second time
Should've done
Janor
that.
has threatened to bear any
Please go
home
ahead.
system.
I would love for the Jolnar to
I was
eliminate
looking at it
or
like
take the
that.
Barony
That's why I was
home
like,
world
I'm willing to
round
sell
2. I would just
Mechdol.
make my
And,
day.
you know,
I can
and-
come back.
Yeah.
And being the Jolnar, it's not a guaranteed thing, but I think the odds are pretty far in my favor. 1 Dreadnought versus 2 fighters. Yeah,
so you'd
I
have
mean,
to 1 Dreadnought versus 2 fighters. Then you'd also have to face the ground. Oh, yeah, you just want to blockade?
nah, I just could blockade, or I could take 1 troop and just take. Just
Ren,
take
yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But
I don't
remember,
have to. I don't
also
have to own it. I don't have to own it. You know
Yeah,
what I
you
mean?
don't have to
Just
own
just
But
blockading it.
I do
would cause a
have
big
the
problem.
troops in Welland to come back to attack you back if that was.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I don't know that I'd be able to hold it, but I think it would wreck your stuff. You know what I mean? Like it would make the rest of you get hard.
It wasn't
Well-
really much. It wasn't that much. You could just bring his carrier back, take it back, and then build.
So the potential with a Dreadnought here
He'd have to kill a Dreadnought.
is
right?
that he could bombard
And
our prime, and with
and
he does have plasma
Fighters.
scoring, he would get 2
Fighters already
bombardment
hit it.
shots.
Yeah, maybe,
If he
right?
successfully
Maybe.
killed both
Wow, but it's Jolnar fighter,
ground forces with that
Dreadnought, that's
bombardment,
right,
he
true.
would take
It's a-
our
it's a
prime,
crappy-
destroy
it's a
that
crappy
space dock.
Dreadnought. It for
It is
sure is
possible
crappy.
for that move to be very criminal for the Barony.
The only other thing to mention is, how are you getting here again? You're going through gravity drive.
Yeah, gravity drive.
So he'd be gravity driving through the beta hole into our prime.
But please bear in mind that this would also leave you much more open into red.
Right. I don't particularly want to do it. It's just very intriguing.
Man,
So
I think we're in a tough bind here for planets, and I don't want to.
I got
If
nothing.
you're
I
willing
can
to like work with me on getting.
So here's
back,
what I'm
then-
going to offer you, Janor. This sounds maybe more like an equatable deal. I'm fine leaving Welland. I'm fine providing you with my support for the throne, so that you can then take Welland, right? That makes sense, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't get Welland. And in exchange, to prevent any shenanigans, I would like your ceasefire.
Yeah.
That went from
Let's make
red
this
in your
deal
home
right
zone
after you
to
place
I'm
your command
giving
counter
my-
down, so there's no like instant backstab. Is that okay?
Yes.
And,
it's always the
Magi,
most
were you
intriguing
saying
finding.
something? I'm sorry. I don't want to.
I was
I
just
don't-
saying this went from extorting him for his home system to giving him your ceasefire really quick.
For support for the throne. I get it. I understand. Oh, that's interesting, right? My support for the throne and the ceasefire kind of serve the same purpose, actually.
All I was saying.
If I
is-
have your support for the throne, I don't need to give you my ceasefire because I lose a point if I attack you.
That's true. That's a very good point. I wasn't even thinking about that. Can you offer me something else small instead? I don't think you care about your political secret, but at the same time, you don't want to give that away.
Right. Nah.
A trade good. How about a trade good? That
I'll
sounds
give
like
you a trade good. I'll give you a trade good so you don't feel like you were railroaded. That's fine.
Not a problem.
A trade
Okay,
good. Trade good for basically what's
so,
going to amount to 2 points.
We'll go ahead.
Support for the throne, which is a promissory
see
note that
now,
grants another player a point.
I don't know
at
if
the
I'll
cost
If we
of
make the exchange
Quan,
right now, I will definitely place it somewhere. But like, if I don't, we have to make it simultaneous, right? Can we do that? Is it possible to token and support can be binding? Yeah, is that true, man?
What are you asking?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, if it's
You-
in the same.
It's in the same moment of time, so I'm going to place my token somewhere else. I'm going to do something else. Actually, I'll probably pop construction if that's all right with you, Bond.
It's fine with me.
And then you can go ahead and we'll do the exchange. Okay, so yeah, I'll pop construction. I'll take Vaughn's support, and I gave him
So this support is going to give Jolnar / Purple a free point on the board. However, if Purple activates
Whoa,
any
the menu.
any system with a
Close this to
white
somebody else did it.
unit or
I think
structure
he's
in it,
root.
Oh, for
Yeah, let's play
Matt,
move.
can you tell them that it's nothing that I do? Me clicking on it does not do anything to it.
Frickin' wham
They keep
dog.
accusing me of doing
This
that,
guy.
like every freaking
I'll
game,
hit the
and it is
button
not
again.
me.
It's fine.
You know, I already copied the support for the phone, so you can keep this
Yeah,
in
alright.
front of you.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think I'll even. I might not even need Quan.
Yeah, it's fine.
As long as I get the maneuverability I need from tech.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, I'll help you out. It's fine.
Anyway,
Okay,
so purple
so I'm gonna
will
put
lose this point if he
a-
activates anything with white's units or structures in it. So let's add that point to Jolnar's sheet here. Barony has given their support
So,
card
Vaughn, you're using the secondary. Where's that going?
to purple, and purple now has a single point.
Do I need to
From
decide
Score
first,
Friend,
or can I see
putting
who
a
else
score
is
at
using?
1.
You can see Jolnar's, but you don't have to see anything else. You're the first one on the order, so you can see
Yes,
that
in the space dock on start point.
now it is your go.
Mech Rex, lock it
Yeah,
down.
Max.
So Hakan, did Hakan
Make
not
sure you spend
follow
that command
construction?
counter as
Because
well.
that would be very surprising to
You
me.
don't have to activate the system since it's already activated.
I guess.
Mage
he's gonna
is not
follow
using
tech
it. Nine of
instead?
Spades is not using it. Schroeder, were you using it?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow.
Oh, here he
Okay.
goes. Okay.
And then I believe Necro was not. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Based on
Triple dock
at
home system.
Spend that
Does
command
make
counter.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Triple
You're
dock
good.
home system.
All right. That's
Always
all
fun.
of construction. Janor, you can pass when you are done.
So since there was already a token in Hakan's
Alright,
homeworld,
done.
he did not have to place
Figured
another
might
one.
as well.
If
I've
you'd
never
ever
done
place
it
a
before.
second token in the system for any reason,
Mage?
for instance, construction,
Hakan,
you
do
just
you
put it
mind,
back into reinforcements
I'm
instead.
looking for some trade goods. Do you mind if we jump in a room real quick to see if we can work something out?
Sure.
So I
This is
despite the
between
fact
blue
that,
and yellow.
that it was just reinforced. I'm thinking of trying to go for Mechatol Rex. I was wondering if you had a
Uh,
flank speed, you could trade me, and I
I
would.
do not.
Okay. Oh well,
Sorry.
worth a try. All right. Well, at any rate, I'm open to other further deals in the future if you want to do whenever you get trade or something like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I have a sabotage, so I'm gonna be theoretically willing to sell that at some point.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, I mean, Barony's making a really strong lead right now, or
Yeah.
push for the lead. So I just
Barony
want to.
needs to be dealt with. I agree with that statement.
That's really what I was aiming to do.
Yeah.
Taking time a bit. Okay. Well, if you don't have it, then not much we can do. But thanks.
So flank speed
Alright,
action card is a card that would give the player the ability to move apply a +1 movement to all of their
Has the
ships.
promising.
The only thing that I'll say, Mage, is maybe I could get something that would help us if I can do another action.
So let's talk about PDS units, which we just
Which means you're
saw got
having
put down.
me
There's a
play
couple of them
leadership?
that got played here or built. PDS
Well,
unit.
you already
This
said you
little
would play
doodad
leadership,
here,
right?
we've
That was
got
part of the
a
deal for giving
Mechatol
you
Rex
Mech
on
Rex.
star point over here. These are defensive
No,
units.
No,
Not-
he didn't give him
I didn't
Rex.
give him Rex.
Oh, you're right.
It
PDS
went the
grants
opposite way you think.
a planetary shield
Yes,
ability
that's
and a
true,
space
that's
cannon
true.
ability.
I'm sorry.
Planetary shield means
well,
that any ground
that would
forces
be
on
helpful, I guess.
that
Leadership
planet
would be
cannot be
helpful.
bombarded.
I like
so
the idea of
bombardment basically
stalling
doesn't
Hakan out
work.
so he has to pass real early.
The space
I mean,
cannon
I'm
ability
fine with
is
that,
a slightly
actually.
more offensive
I mean, I know that I'll get
ability. They get
screwed over
to
by you, but that is
fire
what it
shots at any incoming
I
ships
bet
and
people would be
incoming
willing
ground
to sell
forces.
him action cards.
So with Mechatol Rex, if someone
So,
were
Blue,
to
do
move
you
ships
need
into
me
the
to
system,
grist something
this
to,
PDS would be able to fire a
get
single
the
shot
leadership played
before
next
combat
action, or
even
what?
begins, potentially weakening the attacking fleet.
I'm not
And
really,
then,
I don't really
supposing
care.
someone wins the
I'm
space
fine
battle
with it.
and lands ground forces on
I mean, I can
Mechatol
always
Rex,
trade-
the
I can always
PDS would
trade
then
with him
fire a
my
single
turn,
shot at the
even if he
incoming ground
passes.
forces before the invasion combat happens.
Yep.
Potentially weakening
Yeah,
the
okay.
incoming army.
I might just need a trinket or two or something. So, but that's fine. I think I'm just going to. I'm just gonna build. So
I kind of think what's happening, and I might end up being very wrong here, but I think that what L1 is going to be trying to do here is research gravity drive and take Barony's
Should I
homeworld.
be moving on?
And I think that would be freaking great.
yeah, I mean,
If he could do
I
that,
don't
he
know what
has
the build
White's
policy- Matt
ceasefire,
did say that we
and
could,
White
the
is going to
build
have
could
a
bleed over into
very,
another
very
game,
hard
so-
time.
Yeah,
getting
I'm
back
sorry,
into
guys.
this game.
I had to step away for a brief second and I didn't announce it.
Oh,
Back, Mage,
Matt.
you're wanting to build.
Yep. I'm just figuring out what I'm building here.
Yeah, if we're not in a situation where anyone else's move is impacted by it, Magi, you're welcome to start taking your action. I'm still keeping an eye on Mage's build.
So we are expecting a tech pop here right away. That is at least what Magi said he was going to do, so we will see if that happens. He does want other people to have tech before he goes out and gets that tech. So, yep, does sound like that's what's happening. Yes, this makes a lot of sense. It's going to get him 3 free tokens. And other people go to research tech,
Vaughn,
so that when he attacks them, or they attack him, he's going to have a wider variety of tech.
Well, I was considering holding on to it, but
You can, but I'll give you what you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Normally, I would say I can get Dreadnought 2 myself, because I've already got basically all the prereqs. But if you get it, then I can get something else, and that can work too.
All right,
fine with that.
So let's talk about some other technologies. Let's look at Jolnar here. He's got a whole bunch. Plasma scoring is a fundamental red tech based on
I
red.
would demand that he research
One or more of your units
that
uses
red
bombardment or space cannon.
so that you can get non.
One of those units rolls 1 additional.
Oh, never mind. All right.
Sarween tools is the resource reduction. Narrow motivator allows you to draw 2 extra action cards, 2 action cards instead of 1.
Yeah. So what are we doing with Vaunt?
Anti-mass
maybe
protects you
better-
against other people's space cannons.
How are you
allows
guys
to
getting your own points?
move through asteroid fields. They're already talking about dealing with Barony, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Gravity drive gives you a +1 movement to 1 ship. Online Magi,
Matt,
the
you
Necros
around?
start with
You
Dax
can hear
animators.
Tokens and spending is done. And
Yeah, I was
stuff.
checking out Jolnar's. I'm gonna go to Vaughn.
Which is
I see you with
the
your
second
tokens.
level
You can feel
of
free to
green
tap
tech.
if you're ready to
After you
spend.
win a ground combat, you may place 1 infantry from your reinforcements on that planet. So it
I
kind of
think I
lets you
will not be
reinforce
following with leadership,
planets after a fight. As long as
sorry,
you
with
win.
technology.
Check. Okay.
Let's look at any other text. We
Mage,
do
I
have
saw
the Dax of
yours.
pickup from 9 of Spades, which is kind of interesting to me.
Did you spend the command counter? I believe I saw it. I'm trying to remember now.
Oh, did he? Oh, he spent too many resources. He didn't
Dread
get.
2 and
Oh, no, he didn't.
As
What did
to
he? What
why
was
Magi
researching?
said he won't come after you so long as you
Let's
have
just say
someone
Mage's
to
research and gravity
you
drive.
to come to
Gravity
you
drive,
in
you
order
said
to
it.
get.
Yeah, he just hasn't pulled it out yet.
I promised to kamikaze something into him.
Oh, okay.
Nine of Spades gets Dax of Schroeder.
Yep.
Did you get a tech?
Matt, just letting you know that Jolnar has research and technology. I'll be playing the research agreement.
Got it. Which one are you taking?
Dread
Dreadnought 2?
Good too.
That is fantastic.
Jolnar, you're free
That's
to
a
tap those planets.
Very solid
so I can
pickup
see
for
it.
the Baron
Schroeder.
The Necro, of course,
I
are
did
going to
not
love
follow
that
it.
Dreadnought 2 as well.
Got it.
Once
And then
they
Matt played it.
quote
6,
unquote research
spent
that tech
6. You already spent
by
it.
eating up some
See,
Jolnar
4,
ships.
6. Yep. Okay, that is the end of tech.
Blue has not pulled out their gravity drive.
I
by
would
the way,
like to
Matt.
play an action card. Rise of a
Mage, if you can pull
Messiah.
out that gravity drive, you haven't added it to your
Rise of a
collection yet.
Messiah may be played as an action for the turn. You place 1 infantry from your
I
reinforcements
do, but
on
I'm
each
not
planet
willing
you
to
control.
play it.
It's only 7 ground forces, and it's not
That's
like
a lot.
an infantry heavy race.
If he can get this to go through, which
It
kind of
does
sounds like
make
it's
it
going
so
to
you can
happen,
just
this
focus
is a
on your
pretty great
fighters,
pickup.
though.
Yeah.
For the Nala.
That's
As
true.
Janor, Joel, yes, Janor,
I got no sab.
goodness
or
gracious,
I'd spend- I mean, I have 4. but,
said,
yeah.
if you can get these ground forces out, that means he doesn't have to really
I have-
build a
I
whole
have
lot
no
more
sabos. I wish I did.
to reinforce his planets. He can just focus on building
Yeah, I don't have one either,
fighters.
so.
Yeah.
It looks like
Alright,
the only
looks like
sabotage
Raise
in
the
hand
Messiah is
is
good.
Schroeder's. He has sabotage and still that confusing legal text. Going on more over action cards. We have 2 morale boosts and a lucky shot in 9 of Spades' hand. Magi has veto bribery still and a flank
Root, where's
speed.
my Raise Your Messiah in chat?
Oh my gosh, he's right.
I'm trying to be professional, guys. That's the finals game. I'm trying to make it look nice.
I will be building my
Impossible.
home system.
I've grown accustomed to a degree of root that is not fulfilled this game so
I mean, I like Yvonne, but yeah, good fences make good neighbors, man. That's
All right, so
Super open.
Font is building his
Hey,
homeworld
just
here.
from one
He's building
angle.
in his homeworld.
Please don't give him Dread 2.
I promised him I would.
too
Which
late.
I think is the right
I
choice.
know why you
He
don't
definitely
want
needs
to
to
do it,
reinforce
but I
that, especially now that
totally
Blue has picked up Gravity Drive and is technically in
And
range.
Ultimately,
of that
it's,
homeworld.
you know, he rolls over me and takes the tech anyway.
Yeah.
I think I'm only going to take 1 planet from you, Schroeder. I'm probably planning on taking Meyers and then, like, one of these 2.
Oh, that's all.
Matt, I'm going to build 2 dreads and 2 fighters.
All right, getting those Dreadnought 2s on the board. I like it.
Looks good to me.
So the funny thing about Vaunt having Spark Rebellion is he's currently very solidly in the lead and is going to have to kind of start holding back if he wants to be able to score that objective anytime in the near future.
I will say this, with 3 space docks and Hakan's home, he can support 9 fighters at home without
Yeah,
even
that's
having
wild.
Yeah, that's why I built 4 fighters.
All right, Schroeder.
All right, I'm popping politics.
All right,
Popping
are you
politics.
taking the speaker token?
I guess we'll cover
I could
action cards after this. Matt, I'm gonna step away real quick.
Yeah,
Maybe
you're
2
good.
minutes to take a quick leak and grab a drink.
Copy that.
How about this action card, actually?
Trouble with is that for that action card, the text has to actually.
Hold on.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
You know what? Yes, so long as you non-bindingly promise to let me keep first pick.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, then yes, you get speaker token.
All right, here comes 2 action cards.
And then hit the button. Yeah.
I see. Are you doing the secondary? I see you shaking it. Thank you. Mage. There it is. 9 of spades. Not. All right, that's the end of politics. Schroeder's returning agendas now. What you want me to do with these?
Both of these on top in this order.
All right, we can pass the turn to Janor if you're ready.
Sure.
Yeah. Let me just talk with
And we're back.
Actually, no.
Hey, Roop.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, that's
Mage,
correct.
I think the answer is
Nalu
no, but
gave
are you interested
Schroeder
in this card?
an action card. It's the 3rd action card from the left.
That doesn't help you.
He gave him Lost Star Charts.
Does nothing for
All
me.
right.
Yeah, so that's what
wait.
Nalu gave
Third one from the
Hakan
left?
for speaker token.
Oh, he has a bunch of extra cards.
Yep, I passed this turn.
It could be Lost Star Charts or a Skilled Retreat. I don't know. One or the other. That's cool. That's a much more reasonable price for the
Spicy,
speaker
spicy
token
home
than 2
system
promissory
play.
notes.
You're in trouble now.
Oh no!
Watch him flank speed and take everything.
Nah, I
He
still
doesn't
don't have
even
enough.
need
I
flank
still
speed.
don't have enough. Yeah.
He doesn't even need it. He could.
Right, I can just
He's
use gravity drive. Yeah, get most of it there. Yeah, no, that's it.
What is the deal for feeding him a ship? Sorry.
He gave me free cash last turn, essentially.
Gotcha.
And a promise to not go
Refreshed.
into him.
And that, yes. All right, so that's it, man. We're fighting. You're going
Okay,
down.
that's the end
but-
of movement, sounds like. Any PDS?
So what Janor is doing here is the Jolnar is feeding the
All right.
Necrovirus some
Any
technology
start
to
of
keep him
combat
nice and
abilities?
happy so that the Necrovirus senses powerful, mean ships.
All right, I'm
in
going to
the
try to
other
do this
direction.
better in order. Janor says no. Any start of combat abilities for Necro?
Nope.
Okay, I see no anti-fighter barrage. So Janor, any retreating from
Nope,
either
no
of you?
retreating.
Red?
Nope.
All right, Janor, I see 1 cruiser. And Necro, I see 2 cruisers, 2 fighters. Fire when ready.
I can't believe I hit. Jesus Christ.
I'll take a hit on a fighter.
All right, I can't hit when I want.
All right, and you destroyed a unit of your enemy.
Yep. And I will copy Dreadnought.
Dreadnought 2.
Dreadnought 2 for the Necro. And that is the end of the combat. So, Janor, if that's the end of your turn, we can pass to Mage.
Lost.
Oh, I did not notice, but there's an E-Res pickup for the Jolnar. Let's talk about the E-Res siphons technology for the Jolnar. This is one of their faction techs. It's very, very good. After another player activates a system that contains one or more of your ships, gain 4 trade goods. It's a huge deterrent from other players attacking your shit, your stuff, your precious
Magi.
planets.
Yes.
Because every time they attack you, they just give you more and more
By
money.
any chance you were planning on putting a ship in the A wormhole, we could potentially deal.
Mage, this was your command counter from politics, correct?
Yes, sorry, that's what it was.
you'd rather trade with me than with the Hakan, I
So let's look at the action card
No,
situation.
I have
Nine of Spades has
no
2 morale
problem
boosts,
with
which is
trading
pretty
with
funny.
Hakan. I just
Lost
know
Star
they've been
Charts, skill
talking
retreat,
with
lucky shot,
Mage
because using
and
Nickel Deck,
talking
sabotage
with
for Hakan.
Janor lots. I'm not
Lost
even
Star
sure if they have
Charts
commodities to
allows
trade.
you to use
I could plop a
wormholes as
cruiser
if they're
there.
all
I have,
adjacent to
like,
each other,
one
not just
trade
beta to
available.
beta or alpha to alpha.
I could
Skill
plop a cruiser
retreat
there if you
is
wanna play
a way to
crazy,
get
man.
out of a fight free and clear. Usually a retreat happens after a round of combat, so
Do
someone
that
who's
right now.
attacking you or whatever, they get a
And
round
then
of
I
combat
guess
that
you're
starts
using
destroying some of your
the
ships before you
trade
can get
agreement
down. But
immediately.
skill retreat
when I
gets you out right away.
trade.
Yeah.
You're
The
not
Necrovirus
gonna
have that
save
veto
it
and
for
bribery,
the
that flank
round
speed,
5 or anything.
a
Right.
technology
The other
writer, which
time
is
when
hilarious.
maybe-
That's
like, there's
another
not even a
agenda
point in
card,
saving
which
it,
we'll
man.
talk about
That's
during
a
the agenda
dumb
phase.
idea.
And
Just
Intercept,
retreat.
which
Yeah, if you throw
is
a
basically a
ship in
counter
the
to a
A,
normal
I
retreat.
will
It does not
trade
counter the
trade
skill retreat
agreements.
card, but if someone tries to retreat from you, they won't be able to, which is actually really, really great for the Necro to have. It's usually not a great card, but for the Necro, it's pretty solid. So it looks like in exchange for moving to this alpha hole, which is adjacent to Lodor,
How's you doing
there is
business
a trade agreement
sir.
exchange. Trade agreements are
Hakan, we can work something else.
sort of an extension of commodities and the trade
right, Nine of
strategy
Spades.
card. Basically, whenever the other player replenishes their commodities, you can give them this
pop it,
card
man.
back to gain those commodities immediately.
Yeah, I am gonna be popping trade right now.
All right. Molly is going to be doing his trade, so he's going to gain commodities, which Online Magi will gain by trading this trade agreement. Oh boy.
That's the wrong card.
Oh boy. Almost revealed his public or a secret objective.
Hello.
Oh my gosh.
There it is.
I did not get the chance to read it.
Yeah, I wish I'd been a little faster on the draw.
Just before I pop yours, Necro, I'll make sure I do it in order, but I will be popping your trade agreement at some point this turn.
Hey,
So
Nine,
the only other...
If you
Yeah.
refresh me, you think we could do a trade?
Why don't I just give you a trade good for your trade agreement?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So Nine of Spades buying trade agreements to make this kind of trade transactions
Emirates.
very easy and clear.
What's up? So there are currently only 2 people at the table not being refreshed. That would be Janor and Vaughn.
I'm being refreshed one way or another.
Wait. Oh, all right. So you're gonna pay for yourself to be
Yeah, if he
refreshed.
does, if I don't have a deal where he can refresh me, I'll refresh myself. I'm sure you and I can work something out.
Yeah. All right. I mean, in that case, like I would try to make a deal to make Vaughn refreshed, and maybe we would all gain some money. But since there are 3 parties involved and he only has 2 commodities, I don't think that something would work out unless you're seeing something that I don't.
How about this one? How about
Yeah,
Nine
I'm
of Spades refreshes me for free, and then each of you guys gain 1 trade good as a result. The way
Oh, Nine of Spades, did you already take your trade goods and commodities?
Yeah, I took my trade good. Oh, there's only one here? Oh no, there's 2 there. Yeah, I took my trade goods. I
then
used one of
gave
them to
one,
buy Blue's agreement, and when I refreshed commodities, Magi played my trade agreement too.
Got it. There they are. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, and I have my trade agreement right now, so I assume you turned it in saying you were going to be refreshing me.
Yeah,
I haven't-
I will be refreshing you, but I haven't actually refreshed you yet. Just it will happen. So
The way it would have to
Janor,
work-
sorry, explain how I'm getting a trade good for refreshing.
Yeah, so this is how it works. So I sell my trade agreement to Schroeder for 3. You refresh
that
me.
can't happen right now.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, for 2 trade goods.
You gotta go through me, yeah.
And,
I
well,
will
it's
give you
Nine's
2
turn.
trade goods for your
Well,
trade
so
agreement.
what I'm saying is, if
It's
I
mine.
give Schroeder mine for 2, then you agree to refresh it for 1 from him. Then he gains 1, and you gain 1, and I gain 2.
Why don't I just give you 2 trade goods for your trade agreement?
Because
are
you're not neighbors.
adjacent.
Gotcha. Yes.
That's
that
we
makes
have to use him as a broker, so he has to get paid. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the way it would end up working is I would I would give you one of my 6 commodities in exchange for you refreshing him, and then
This
he would
is
acknowledge that I
the
did him this
drawback
favor,
of
and so he would
trade
do
amongst
a 4 for 3 with me.
experienced
To
players.
watch
Trade
your-
doesn't get
that's
easier;
fine.
it
That's
gets
fine.
more
Yeah.
complicated.
Just
Yeah.
for an extra bit, if I give you this action card, will you give me 3 of your commodities?
No.
That was including the one that
Yep,
Janor was.
I know.
Okay, gotcha. So
My action card hand is getting kind of full,
Yeah,
and
I
so
gotcha.
it's just I don't. Yeah.
So I want to make it binding. So will you give me one of your trade goods for that refresh of Janor?
Sure, because Janor said he's willing to have me be washed in the end.
Yeah, I'll
So
do
it-
it in that direction. That's fine.
If you give me one trade good, I will refresh
Okay.
Janor, Mage, and Magi. I will give Mage and Magi their trade agreements back for 5 trade goods.
The trade good is over here.
Interesting. Okay.
All right, and so then, Schroeder, the deal is I'm giving you 4 for 3, correct? No, 4 for 2.
Yes. And we can increase scale if necessary for washing, you said.
All right, how many more do you have there?
I've got 6.
All right, so yeah,
So you
can
yeah.
I'll just wash it.
Okay, but it's Vaughn's turn now.
It is indeed Avant's turn. The barony
I guess
of
we can't do it
Letnev.
yet.
I would say are pretty likely to be taking Cornic Resculon and getting out of
Hakan,
the
do
way
you
of
need me to
Jolnar
do
as
leadership?
per his former agreement.
I mean, I have an action card that I could spend to stall, but I'd rather not. So I'll give you one trade good to just play leadership now.
I guess it sounds like a plan.
That's interesting. Hakan is straight up lying. He does not have an action card he can play as an action.
Should I take it or?
Basically, just a bluff to try to get this to seem like he's not desperate.
Wait, I think I'm lagging out. I can't. There we go. Where did my single? There it is. All right, sorry, I lost it for a moment. Here you go.
I flip leadership.
All right, leadership
All
time.
right, time to buy tokens.
Hit that play
We
button.
sort of very vaguely talked about leadership last round, but didn't really talk too much about it. Leadership, aside from
One
being
for
the
Mage,
highest
I see
initiative
one for Magi.
and usually the first to play, they gain 3 command tokens,
For Jolnar.
and they can spend any amount of influence to
3 for
gain 1
Hakan.
command token for every 3 influence spent.
I'm just
9 and
thinking.
Vaughn.
Sorry.
As a secondary, every other player may spend any amount of influence to gain 1 command token for every
Vaughn,
3
are you
influence spent.
buying any
And when you
extra?
gain those tokens,
I will
those
not be
tokens can
buying
go
any
anywhere in
extra.
your command sheet.
3 for Vaughn.
So we do see the barony has placed an additional token in his fleet supply. He's placed 1 in tactics and 1 in strategy.
And yeah, I'm doing all my planets and 2 trade goods.
Back tree from
All right,
Right, 3
he's
for
picking up
one.
quite a
Nice.
few
There we
tokens. That is interesting.
Matt,
And am I
what were
good to
your
go?
what were your 3 influence you spent?
what? These 3 right here.
Thank you. Thank you, Jolnar.
And am I good?
Yeah, you're good, Hakan.
I think I'm lagging. I can't pull token out.
there's been a
Yeah, I
bit
had
of
the
lag
same
today.
issue for a moment.
Hunter keeps getting really bad flag on the stream as well.
Everybody done?
I believe so, Vaughn. You can pass the turn when you're ready.
All right, table
Give
is yours.
me.
Schroeder.
Sorry, 1 second. No, that's
Nope.
fine.
No, it's okay.
I think I don't want this in strat. I'm gonna put it in. Yeah, tactics. There we go.
All right, Schroeder, you are up.
I'm going to be very interested to see what L1 does with Warfare this round. I'm still super curious about that. He might just take Theba and Warfare his homeworld and
Yep,
bring the
sorry
cruiser
about
along
that.
or something.
As I
Who
said,
knows?
in chat pre-game, at some point in time, I knew that I was going to go to the bathroom at the wrong time, so this was it.
Huh.
Okay, so Jay, as we said, so I've got 5 commodities, and so you've got 4. So I'll give you 5, and you'll give me your 4 in addition to
So I need to end up gaining 2. So I need to end up with 7. Right?
Yes.
Perfect. So these are the 3.
All right, you have everything from me.
Wait, this is 5. I only see 5 trade goods on my sheet now.
There's a
I
stack
gave you
here.
3 trade goods.
Oh,
and I gave you
oh,
4.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, there we go.
I gave you everything. It's not my fault.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Man, I came into this game hoping Schroeder and Janor would just like destroy each other because of rivalry and stuff.
Nah,
and
man.
it is literally the exact opposite.
Yeah,
I'm stuck in the middle.
I'm friendly
So
with everybody. I'm friendly with everybody. I'm friendly with Magi. I'm even friendly with Vaughn. I only threatened him because that was really a big opening. But yeah, no.
So, man,
Honestly, I think it was spillover from our last game together.
No, that's not true. But I wouldn't let you push it.
So let's continue to talk about some
So, Magi,
action
here's the
cards
thing that
here.
I'm thinking right now. This is a tech skip.
Maybe not.
And I'm no longer stalled out of leadership, so I could get it. I mean, you could take it back. But,
I will take
if I
back
take
if you
it...
try.
Yeah, I know.
I
I'm
need
just,
2 more planets, so.
Oh, I'm just trying to walk us both through this for a moment. So if I were to take it, you would take it back, but you would be taking it back with maybe 1 dreadnought, and so then you would have a lot less to come into here. And so you might not be able to take one of these 2 planets.
Worst case, I'll work out something with Jolnar for Quan. Oh wow, that's the last planet you haven't spent.
It is, unfortunately.
Wow. I mean, you could also choose to rift it for the biscuit and just go
I have no reason to fight Janor right now. He's been cooperating and helping me get the tech I need.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
If you wanna exchange a bunch of plastic and feed me tech, I'm okay with that. But I'm just saying I need this planet and then I need one of these. That's my goal.
And I'm just thinking if
this is Magi leveraging that plastic
well, I definitely can't stall
advantage, which he definitely has with 2 Dreadnought 2s available to him.
Trying to say that.
These Dreadnoughts in Hakon's home space, homeworld, are locked down for the rest of this round.
I don't have intentions of staying there. I just need to grab them and actually score a point this round.
So say we all, man. So say we all.
Probably should have sabotaged that Rise of the Messiah over here because now you don't really have an option to go that way.
Okay, so yeah.
You could jump on Mechatol and try for Mechatol, leave the planets open. I could take them and give them back.
That is an option, but
I will say that contesting me is an unwise decision.
I also have a certain card here for you that could help.
Yeah, that would.
So that is Necro's flank speed.
Help significantly.
Indeed. Again, flank speed is a great and certainly often demanded card. It applies +1 to the movement of all ships during a tactical action.
A bad idea to do.
With my Dreadnought 2 and my action cards, are you really gonna spend that much stuff to take the planet? That's your decision.
This is interesting. Vaunt has 2 direct hits: a Distinguished Counselor, Imperial Rider, Political Stability. Direct hit allows you to, after another player's ship, use a sustained damage to cancel a hit produced by your units.
That's what he probably
destroy
really
that
wants.
ship. Dreadnoughts have an ability called Sustained
trying to
Damage as well as Bombardment. Sustained Damage is basically you can kind of think of it as having 2 hit points
all
rather than
planet
1.
control.
But
Like
basically, what
what
it's doing is
have.
canceling another unit's hit that you assign to that ship.
and I think that I'll.
And then a direct hit basically allows you to then destroy that ship if someone else does that. Of course, the Dreadnought 2 upgrade, unit upgrade,
what do you want
makes
for
them
that?
immune to the direct hit cards. But Hakan does not have
What do
Dreadnought
you
2 right
think
now.
is
So those
fair?
Dreadnoughts are vulnerable to double direct hits.
Well,
so that could be
for one
potentially
thing,
pretty
it makes
devastating.
it so that I'm
Next
wide
round.
open. So, I think to some extent you almost just want to give.
We'll talk about Distinguished Counselor and the Imperial Rider that Vaunt has during the agenda phase. Political Stability is a pretty cool card. When you would normally return your strategy card during the status phase, do not return the strategy card. You do not choose the strategy cards during the next strategy phase. So if you have a strategy card in your possession that you really like and you want for the next round, you can play Stability to keep that card and prevent someone else from taking it. Often tried to people try to use that at the end to hold on to like Imperial or something, or leadership so that they can score first, stuff like that. I am kind of the opinion that
I'll get my point.
if player played early, it's less likely to get sabotaged.
Or you can like fight me here. I can still fight you there, win it, and we still got Warfare, and I got 6 to spend. Probably grab Sarween off of you, just make it 7.
Mm-hmm.
I'd sell it to you for 2. Unless you have another action card I'd like, and then we could just trade.
So Necrovirus has, as he said, 6 resources at his disposal right now between his trade goods and his 1 remaining planet. He has a bunch of tokens available to him as well because he has followed leadership for tokens. He also got tokens from technology. So he's got a lot of flexibility right now.
I'll pay 2. I'll pay 2 for it. I've got too much of a fun play in mind to not do it.
Okay, which of these planets do you want to keep, and which one do you want to lose?
I would like to keep Centauri.
All right, bring your 3 dreads. Let's go.
This game is fun.
No, I can't bring my 3 dreads. They're locked down.
Hey Schroeder,
What's up?
before you put anything down, how much money you got over there?
5. Oh my!
I don't know what this oh my is about. What's happening?
What does it say?
What's in the box?
You know?
What just happened? What did I miss?
Showed an action card. I didn't get to see what it was. Jolnar asked how
So
much
so
money do you have, and then
Current price
showed him an action
five
card.
trade goods. Is
No.
what it is.
Oh, it's unexpected action.
Well, the thing
Let's
is,
talk about Turtle's Hand.
in order for it to work,
We have courageous to the end, which we talked about. Unexpected action. It's sort of like a mini warfare. As an action, you remove a token from the game board and return it to your reinforcements. So basically, you can, for instance, build
so
3
I guess
dreadnoughts in your home world, and then
might not
play
be
this
willing
card
to pay
and
5
unactivate
because
that
there's
system so you can
counterparty
fight
risk
with those dreadnoughts.
Magi, so I'd pay.
He has the fire team still. He has parlay.
I mean, if
after
if
another
you
player
tell me
commits
what
units
it
to
is,
land
then
on the
we
planet
can have a
control.
conversation.
You return the committed units
I'll
to the
just be
space
open
area, so
about it.
prevents someone
I'll
from
be
invading
there
one
for
of
a
the
second.
planets. We have
I just
Reactor
said it out
Meltdown,
loud.
which as an action can destroy
So,
a
I
space
mean,
dock in
obviously,
a
as your
non-home
next
system.
action, you could not get in my way.
And repeal law as an action. You can discard a law from play, which we don't have any right now because we haven't had an agenda phase, but we will at the end of this action phase. So maybe we'll have a law in play, and maybe we'll see that get repealed. But that unexpected
Should I be
action is
extra
potentially
concerned
huge.
that this is
here.
all pointing a dagger at me?
It's at Mechatol more than anything.
Yeah. I mean, the sad thing is that no matter what happens with this, I'm not gonna get a point. Actually, wait, yeah, I'm not gonna get a point out of this, I just realized, because no matter what, I won't have 6 planets.
I mean, next round, your turn to pick, so unless Nala takes Imperial, you can take Imperial.
I already told him that he can have his first pick.
So the only thing I want to say, Schroeder, is that I understand if you need to attack me. I have no problems with that reality, but please bear in mind that your loss is unaligned Magi's gain, and that's all I see coming out of this is you not profiting, me losing, and unaligned Magi winning. Is that really the future we want to go in?
Mechatol Rex is a profit.
Vaughn, I love you so much. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, man. Are you like a diplomat or something?
So you
Like,
guys keep calling me a diplomat, right? Like,
I felt inspired by that. I just want you to know.
Yeah.
I'll mention it again if you guys haven't watched
I-
or
yeah,
listened to
bullying
the
this table
SCPT
is not gonna
podcast episode
work,
number
so
77,
I'm willing to make deals. I'm trying to
the
make a
prelude
deal
to this
where
game, the
I can
interviews with
score
all
a
these
point
players.
without.
Definitely give it a listen. It is
Well, you
pretty
just
fascinating.
paid 2 trade goods for that card. Like, don't waste it. I don't know.
All right. I'll give you. It. This will be too fun. I'll give you the 5. It'll be too fun. I'll give you the 5.
This is interesting.
Oh, that was
So he
unexpected.
did get unexpected action for 5 trade goods.
All right.
I
sorry,
think that's
say
the most I've
unexpected.
ever seen an action card get paid for.
Sabotage.
Jolnar is just so rich now. Oh my gosh. But there is
I'm
no
not
other sabotage
sabotaging
in hand, I think.
All right.
No, there's no other sabotage. So unexpected action is going to go through. Let's talk
So
about
that was
Mage's
my
hand real
expensive
quick. He has
turn.
an Assassinate Representative, which is an agenda card. We'll talk about that later.
Matt, I'm
Maneuvering
coloring
Jets,
up real
which can cancel a hit from a PDS, either in space or during a ground invasion. We have Frontline Deployment in action. You can place 3 infantry from your reinforcements on a planet you
Jeez.
control.
All right. That's
We have Insubordination, which
a
as
lot
an
of money
action, you
there,
may
man.
remove 1 token from another player's tactics pool
yeah, I
and
mean,
return to their reinforcements.
I'm okay with.
Morale boost for that combat
Jano's
efficiency
my
and
best
reparations.
friend.
we talked
He
about
can
as
have
well.
as much money as he wants.
You sure you want to have that when he wins and he holds it over you for the rest of reality?
I'm fine with that. I mean, honestly.
But now
having
all
people
of
from
these
Chicago
dreadnoughts
win,
are
not such a bad
free.
thing.
All right, I'm activating my home system because I have a similar problem. Vaughn had recently, so.
All right,
Yeah, I know,
Jolnar is going to be protecting his
thinking
homeworld,
about
building
it.
some ships.
I was like, I'm not gonna arm stab him.
He does
I
have
had
a
the
ton
2
of trade
PDS, and I
goods.
thought it probably would be enough. So I shouldn't have
We did just see a whole bunch of singles
know if
here.
we
These
can
are
still call you a brown
value 3 trade goods, so we kind of exchanged those to make
I'm not
his
in the
sheet
lead.
a little cleaner.
His hat is made of
Sorry, I might be
gold. Let's
confused
be
about
real
that.
here, guys.
Yeah, so Necro, are you still sure you want to come at me? He's super rich. I've got no idea how that happened.
Ah, that's funny.
I mean, if I activate one of his systems, he gets 4 trade goods. So.
Yeah, that's true, but then you can get that tech from him.
They're referencing the ERES siphons, which we talked about. That is a technology
No,
that the
he
Necro
won't.
could copy. The Necro, it is key to note, can only copy 2 faction texts at a time, although only one of them has hit the table at the moment. That will become a factor
home
later on in the game.
Home system building.
They can, if they
It's back
have
here.
2 faction texts
Yeah, I'm here.
and
All right.
want to research another
This
one
one's
or
funded.
steal another one or copy another one, they can choose to
Looks good.
essentially delete one
Schroeder,
that
what
they
was
have
your
copied
action?
previously and gain the
Unexpected
new tech
action.
instead.
Thank you. All right. So Jano, when your turn is done, we can pass to Mage.
Hey Nalu, what are your thoughts regarding the border we share at the moment?
I like it.
Any plans to jump across? Are we gonna have a tussle?
Well, I'm locked down there, and I can't move 2. My ships are only move 1, so you have no worries for this round.
Have no
Oh,
worries
yeah, you know gravity
for
grab. Yeah, I
the
only
rest
wanted
of
to
your
do this round.
round.
Okay, that's fine. Just checking.
Yeah, man.
It's
All
our
yours.
problem
You do
free.
you, boo-boo.
I can't think of a TI specific thing that rhymes with philosophy, so I'm just gonna stop singing.
Oh, unexpected. How unexpected.
All right, so Mage
What
is
a
gonna
twist.
fly over here with gravity drive, bringing this carrier, a couple ground forces, and
Make
presumably
that
these fighters.
NES hard to grab.
Take Aaron and Mirror. Right in the middle of Yellow's slice. This is pretty cool. I like the play.
Gonna make it hard for him to get out of
L1 certainly does need the influence, and the cool thing is that
I'm not gonna stay there
Mage
for long. It's just
has
for this
that
turn.
that white player
I just need
ceasefire.
to- I just need to
So the
expand.
next time, as
I
we
have no
mentioned
problem
before,
with
Vaughn tries to attack a space with blue
Well, I mean,
ships,
like he's
you
already
just
pretty
ceasefire
much,
and
you know,
that
activated
action.
most of the
action
things, so he can just take the planets in the corner, and then next turn I'll leave, and
kind of just be
everything's good.
it's going to be a very challenging situation
Duel,
for White to
carrier,
recover from this. He's going to have to like
3
retaliate
fighters.
here or something. It's going to be an interesting little war next round. It's going to be kind of fun to watch. Also important to note, of course, that Warfare has not
That is
been
the
played
plan.
yet. He can, if he chooses to lift off this token, go somewhere else.
Mage, I
continue
handed
to,
you Aaron and Mir for everybody your planets now.
to fight with white if he chooses. Maybe
Nine of
take
spades.
Corning Gresculon, or just backtrack a little bit up to Theba if he wanted to and protect those ships just a little bit. Who knows? He's got a lot of options.
Just Nalu things.
He could also warfare
Alright.
this token off and bring that
Oh.
Dreadnought with those 2 ground forces down to Theba.
So, Mage, I totally understand what you're doing. I understand your plan, and I understand your goal of getting your 6 tokens. You still have not popped Warfare. What are you going to do with your last Warfare action?
Well, I was kind of keeping it open in
And of course,
case the
that,
board
as
changed.
Vaughn mentioned, that gives him 6 non-home planets,
That really, I mean, I don't know. What do you? what
which
do you
is
thinking?
a point that he needs.
What would help?
I have no problems with anything on my side. I was just wondering if you were weak or not, and I will respect you in your plays and let you go elsewhere. I will do something different.
I'm sorry. What? Oh, yeah, that's fine. I wasn't gonna go.
Alright, Barony consolidating control over his remaining slice here. And of course backing out of Welland as he promised he would with Jolnar. And he's out of
Okay,
resources. He does
so
have a trade good and a couple of
9.
tokens left here, but I don't really expect him to
I
do
think that I
much
might
with those.
be
I would not be surprised if he passed on his
in a
next turn.
position now where I can do a pretty fun deal with you where you end up getting that thing you wanted. So, based on where I am in speaker order and what we had, the promise we made earlier, if I had Imperial, then I would definitely use Gift of the Prescience if I had it.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. That's a great pick. Now.
All right.
So
Well,
let's
I
talk
mean,
about,
not a chance
talk
that I
about
can
why
take,
that
right? So
why that
Alright,
laughter just
yeah.
happened. Gift of the
literally,
Prescience is the
when I
Nalu
picked a faction
promise
I
right
looked at
now, and
Nalu
probably
and I
one of
thought,
the
if it makes it
strongest
to the
promise
end
runners in
game,
the game.
I score
not
first,
the
and that's
strongest
the
promise
only
runner.
reason I have these
Gotcha.
guys, and I'm
Alright,
not
alright.
gonna let anything chance that not happen.
So you're not willing to risk, like, for example, me failing at this combat and thus not popping Gift of the Prescience, or just lying. Okay, understood.
Pretend I'm Doctor Strange, and I looked at 14 million possible endings. And the only one where I win is the one where I don't give you Gift of the Prescience.
You know, all right. In that case,
really
just so you know,
great.
I probably won't leave that one planet that you wanted open.
So this card basically
Unless-
gives the player
'cause I think
the
that I now
Nalu
have
telepathic ability, allowing them
a
to
way that I
play
could end up
first
being
no matter what strategy
So,
card they have,
yeah.
which can be very powerful. It also allows you to score first no matter what, which is
I
incredibly
understand,
powerful
man.
towards the
You
end of the
do
game.
what you gotta do.
It is, as Nine of Spades said, basically their whole shtick.
Okay.
So this is interesting.
I laid it. I played it.
Oh, don't forget.
And so,
We're gonna see a flank speed
first
come out here.
off, flank speed.
All right, a flank speed has been played.
I'm not sabotaging anything.
I don't hear anything from anybody else, so we'll go ahead and call it played.
Okay. Cool. Now I need to do some rough battle calculations. So you do have upgraded dreadnoughts, but you don't have NES Duranium armor at all. So it's good that I'm dealing with this in time before you.
So Schroeder, if it influences your decision, I'm still gonna probably move in here.
Gotcha. And you're just gonna risk the loss. Well, yeah, you've got a decent fleet.
And Warfare still hasn't been popped. Like, I'm just saying, I'm probably still going in there. I don't want you to lose the ship if you don't have to.
Are you willing to do the thing that we talked about before?
Yes.
Okay, cool. In that case, I will bring... I'm just going to put things in the asteroid field for simplicity. Alright, now the real question is, do I bring a second dreadnought, or do I bring a carrier and 2 fighters and some ground forces just so that I can make sure that I win the ground combat? Because otherwise, I'm not sure that I have enough.
Fighters will get any fighter barrage. There's a small chance of losing.
Oh yeah, thank you for that reminder. Yeah.
So the odds of how this is going to play out are
So.
going to be pretty deceptive because of A, the PDS unit on Mechatol Rex, and the 2 direct hits that
I guess what I'm just gonna
that Voth
need
is
to
sitting
rely
on right
on, I'm gonna need to bring this infantry, and I'm just gonna need to rely on the idea that you're still only gonna take 1, even though 2 planets are open.
Yeah, I'm
Look at the odds of this fight, because I think it's pretty interesting. It appears, for all intents and purposes, to be a 97% likely victory for the Hakan. But
All right.
that's not currently accounted
Combat.
for
Final movement.
That
a
is
PDS
final
shot.
movement.
Okay,
It's
final
actually
movement,
2 PDS shots
PDS.
because of plasma scoring for the barony. It
Nothing
also,
is in
One PDS
range.
and where's
Yes, one
where
PDS.
is
it also doesn't account for the 2
Where
direct
is,
hits that Vaunt has in his hand, which
Actually, I guess before
are
we
going
get to
to
that
be
stage,
absolutely
does anybody
huge.
have a what's that one card? The
Disable.
Maneuvering jets.
not maneuvering jets. I mean, disable sure as well. But if anybody has any action cards they want to sell me right now, please show me.
I mean, you
Yeah,
can
what are you
wait until
offering?
after the shots are fired, and then when it's time to assign the hits, then buy them if you.
So there is a
True.
maneuvering
All right, yeah.
jets in
Thank you,
Blue's hand
Magi.
here that
I
Blue
will
could,
wait.
It'll
could
be
sell,
more
could
expensive then.
possibly.
Yeah, that's true. People probably ask more.
I don't have
Well-
any for the record, so it's not for me. But
So I don't have any trade goods, which is the issue. So I would potentially give a fun action card, such as Skilled Retreat.
Doesn't sound like Blue's going to
All
speak
right, I'm
up.
not hearing anything. So the next step in the movement phase is that I'm going to be rolling my my space cannon.
I think he was trying to make a deal. Schroeder, was that still happening?
It sounded like nobody was saying anything, so I'm
Okay.
willing to
So,
just
yeah.
move on for now.
Vaunt, activate that plasma scoring and hit the anti-mass deflector button over here as well.
So as we mentioned
the
earlier,
glowing
plasma
green.
scoring, that red tech allows
This
you
one
to
as
apply an extra die roll to
and then hit
space cannon shot,
SPC.
which is what's happening right now with this PDS. This happens before combat, after movement.
No hits.
No hits. Wow. All right.
Thank
so
you,
it's very
Anti-Mass.
important to note. Yep. So we
Yep,
can see that
Anti-Mass saved
that he
your baby.
rolled 2. Oops.
All right,
Uh,
I see
2
2
sixes,
Dread Carrier
which would
versus a
normally
Dread
hit.
Destroyer. Any
We do see the
start of
PDS hit
combat
on
abilities.
6 with that space cannon ability there. However, anti-mass, which is a attack that Schroeder has, applies a
I'll
minus
go aggressive
1
first.
to
Hakan,
the,
any start of combat abilities.
die rolls.
No.
Which means
Any start of combat
they would only hit on
abilities.
7s normally,
No.
with that
All right.
tech.
Any retreats. Vaunt has no viable targets. So with that,
I will not declare retreat.
see.
I mean, actually, wait. Vaunt, if you want, I'm willing to just give you a Skilled Retreat.
Ooh, he should say no. He's got 2 direct hits, man. Use them.
Ha!
Use them.
Yeah.
I want to
So
point
long
out
as-
we've already moved past the start of combat step.
At the start of a round of combat is Skilled Retreat, and
So you could do it next
so-
round.
Yep. Wait, no, we're still. Oh, you're right. We did. I said no, and he said no. Damn it.
That's correct.
All right, fair enough.
All right.
I cannot retreat. Let's fight.
2 Dread and a Carrier versus a Dread and a Destroyer. Roll when ready. And hit from yellow.
Schroeder gets a single hit, which White will be able to mitigate with his sustained damage on the 1 dreadnought that he has. Ooh,
No hits
White
from
really
Vaunt.
needed
Vaunt,
a
you need
hit
to
here.
account for 1 hit.
White really badly needed a hit on that.
Stain on the
that first
Dreadnought.
roll.
All right. Second round of combat.
Wait. So start of combat
It's
stuff.
sustained here.
I'm not doing anything. So Vaunt, actually, yeah. So specifically, I would want you to take everything, including the ground force.
Sorry, you cut out there.
So if I gave you Skilled Retreat, I would want you to retreat out, not into my stuff, with everything, including the ground force.
It's almost tempting now that he's taken a hit and wasn't able to score any
You can
hits
still
during
hold
the
it.
first round of combat.
Your PDS takes out some of the infantry.
I know. I don't like risk. I can probably win without giving you anything.
I accept. If you give it to me, I will move out right now with everything.
Okay.
Interesting.
So I give you
Okay.
Skilled Retreat.
Okay.
And actually, yeah, you can actually just go anywhere you want, whatever's fun for you.
No, the Astro system seems like the way to go.
All right. So are you playing that skilled retreat? Looks like it.
Yes, I am.
All right, moving
That's
into
almost,
the asteroid
that's
field.
a little unfortunate to me. I
Don't
would
see
have
a
really loved to see
sabotage.
those.
All right, are you
what the heck?
invading
Oh,
Schroeder?
that's why.
I
I would
am
have really
invading.
liked to see
Invasion. There is a space cannon roll.
those direct hits come into play here, but I think that that unfortunate
Anti-mass and
round
plasma
one of
scoring
combat
still apply. So same
probably
roll as
informed that
before.
decision here, which I think is fine. Like he didn't have to pay anything for the
One hit.
Let's go to retreat.
All right.
So 1 infantry dies, 3 invade. Mechatol Rex passes over
And this PDS is
to
going to die.
Archon.
Barony token
That was
also
fun.
goes here.
And Verity does need to activate the asteroid field from their reinforcements.
So anytime you you retreat, either with a skilled retreat,
Right.
or some normal retreat,
That's
or
the end
with
of
a
your
foresight
turn,
ability from the
Schroeder. We
Nalu,
can pass to
you do
Daniel
have to
and
place a
Is the
token
end
from
of
your
my turn. It was
reinforcements
a long one.
into the system you retreat into,
Sorry about it.
activating it and making it so that
It-
those
it
ships
was a lot of
cannot
fun.
move any further during that round.
Apology accepted.
It was a little bit frustrating. I have 2 direct hits in my hand, so I was like,
Oh,
I am primarily
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm surprised he
Rainer,
gave
do
that
you
information
have,
away for free.
your research agreement still?
I do.
So I'm
What?
thinking on my turn, either I'll activate your home system for 3 trade goods, so you net a free trade good, or I'd be willing to just activate your home system or any system you want. It'll give you the 4 trade goods for the research.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Oh yeah. I
Whichever
love
one
that.
you want.
Those
So.
sorts of deals. Oh yeah, I forgot that I can do that with you too.
Yeah, everyone can do that with me. If you activate one of my systems, it gives me trade goods. It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm down, Magi. I mean, tech's already been played this round, so not super urgent yet.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not playing an action card that gives me tech. So
I guess the
trying to-
ultimate question is going to be: do you want to do that with Necro or with someone else? Because Necro is super crazy on tokens. You even want him to go even more crazy.
well, if Necro does it, he wastes a token, right?
So yeah, he nets 2 tokens. Yes, not 3.
He doesn't net 2 because he actually gets a tech from my.
Oh wait, he actually gets attacked.
Right.
Oh,
I
wait.
Yeah,
actually
it's
get
not
the tech.
researching. He just
Huh.
gains.
It's gaining
Huh.
it, yeah. That way we don't have to fight, and I can get
Right,
the
yeah,
tech.
I like us not fighting. This not fighting thing has been working out for. So what I'm doing right now is trying to figure out if there's a way for me to score a different this round, and I think there might not be.
I mean, well on, right? That's where you're getting your 6
Well,
points.
right, that's my second industrial. I need 2 more, right? So
Did he forget
I'm
that?
trying
Did he
to-
forget that he needs 6 planets?
Oh, 6. That is my 6th planet. Son of a bitch.
He
Or you
straight up
can
forgot
take
about a
Tiba
planet score.
and do a 3rd tech skip. Sorry, not.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody's locked down there. Yeah, I can just go do the thing. Yeah, yeah.
They are all locked down, but warfare has not been activated yet, so that is important
Alright.
to note.
Careful about Theba.
What's that?
Where are you planning on activating?
Oh, I'm planning on activating Welland. It's the agreement that we're ending.
Makes sense.
Alright, so
All
that
right,
is a
Mage.
6th planet and a 2nd tech specialty for Janor. That is also 2 industrial planets, so that's the green symbol here. He does need 2 more if he
Yeah,
wants to
so
score the
yeah,
4
triple.
of a
Oh,
trait.
yeah. Yep. I was like, oh, yeah.
Which he's going to have to go pretty far afield in order to get if he wants to
Just
go
pulled the
that
wrong
route.
kind of token out. I'll put it. All right. Yeah. So if you want to do that thing, I will trade you. I want to imagine.
Yep, on my next turn.
Alright, I'm expecting a warfare play here from the L1Z1X. He does have an action card, a couple action cards that he could play if he so chose to delay the activation of warfare. So we'll see what he chooses to do.
I'm sure that what I did is going to end up biting me in the butt.
I think he wants the.
It's so
I think he's
tempting,
now
though,
a
isn't
little
it?
bit
It's so
concerned that
hard.
purple
Yeah,
might
yeah.
be heading over here.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting
Like-
for Magi to fly in and take those 2 planets.
I'm only
Yeah,
taking one.
Yeah. You say that, we'll see. I mean, I
What
want to
would,
trust
be
you,
the,
but
what would be the point in pissing you off, though? Like,
Yeah, I guess.
That's fair.
It's not denying you a point. You're not going to have 6
Yeah.
anyway.
it's not. Yep, that's a very good point. And it's not
Yeah,
like
1,
you
2,
need both
3,
for
4,
yourself,
and 5.
So that's fair.
assuming he keeps
Well,
Centauri, which it does sound like he's
yeah.
going to. Keep in mind, those 6 planets do have to be non-home planets, so even though Hakan has 3 planets in their home system, they don't count for this objective.
Mage, hit that play button if you can. We'll see if we can get the calculator to work.
Activating Warfare here. What token is he going to remove? Oh, he removed the token in Aranam Mirror. That is pretty neato. I like it. Now he can
yellow, are you doing? And so
pull those units back to Theba.
3 builds.
Make it a lot less likely that he'll lose those units next round.
I got no trade goods.
Interesting to note, if he takes Theba and it holds onto Aranam, that is going to be 4 industrial planets, which is a huge pickup for him in this slice. It's 4 planets with 1 trade is one of the more challenging objectives to gain, just because of how spread out those planet traits tend to be.
Said no, Magi.
So if he's able to pick that up this round, that is pretty good. Pretty good.
Good to go, Jolnar.
Do see several builds happening here. We've got yet another Dreadnought from the Necrovirus. That Dreadnought 2 is going to be making him, giving him a lot of power here. I don't think the Hakan is building anything. Did he follow? Does not use Warfare. Nope, he did not at all. We've got some more fighters coming out of the Nalu player. He does not yet have Fighter 2, but he does have a Speaker token, so he might actually be able to grab that and Neuromotivator next round, since I do believe he is still planning on taking Tarman. He does have the actions tokens available here, and a carrier available as well. So he, I would expect a double tech next round for the Nalu to take Neuromotivator to both of his faction techs. Let's take a quick look at those. His faction techs are pretty great.
Hey, do you have any movement?
We've got Hyper Crystal Fighter 2. It's a unit upgrade.
You should have asked for him
hit
to
on
activate
7s rather
you
than
really
8s for everybody else.
I thought my home system was the best defended planet.
If they are outside of the capacity of a space dock or a carrier, they only count as a half of a unit against your fleet pool, rather than a full unit as everyone else's Fighter 2s would. So that's really cool. He has the ability to have a lot more fighters than other people intend to. And Neuroglaive is a great defensive tech. After another player activates a system that contains 1 or more of your ships, that player removes 1 token from his fleet pool and returns it to his reinforcements. That is a brutal setback to anybody who's attacking you, and especially combined with the those cheap fighters that can exist out on their own. You can put those all around you, make it very difficult for people to attack you, very costly. Now, that Neuroglaive does require you to have 3 other green technologies, and we do see he only has 2, which is why he needs and just picked up Tarman. That planet has a green tech skip, which allows him to skip a prerequisite, so he will be able to take Neuroglaive next round, should he choose to do that.
The question becomes, do I want to try to get some money this round so that I can reinforce and rebuild in my home system, or do I just want to say screw it?
Let's just say screw it. That's more fun.
How about, you know what? Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, fun.
Hey, Jay, I'll give you... If you give me 3 trade goods, I'll activate your home system.
Interesting. That doesn't really gain him a whole lot, because essentially a token here, which is what he's going to be spending to do this.
Yes, I will
costs about 3
we'll
trade
make
goods.
It all binding so that
they cost 3 influence.
Right
3 trade goods can be 3 influence.
So deal.
E-res siphons, this is how this is happening here and being worthwhile. He activates the system with Jolnar's ships. Jolnar gets 4 trade goods. He gives 3 of them away to Hakan. Hakan basically exchanges a token for 3 trade goods. Hakan nets 1 free trade good for no reason. So for Jolnar, it's great. Costs him nothing. He gets an extra $1 here. Hakan essentially converts his command counter into money.
Gotta tell you, I'm a little nervous about Mage. Mage, you coming after well on this turn?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. That's your point right there, but I'm willing to be dissuaded.
Well, I might... Yeah.
It's very interesting. So he certainly could take this planet to deny Jolnar a point while also taking
I've got
4th
2
industrial
equal
planet, since
choices,
this is industrial
right?
as well.
It's just, that's worth a point to you, so...
Right. I was thinking about occupying both of them. Of your equal choices.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah, and Mage already has a point in his pocket, right?
He does. He does currently have 6 non-home
Well,
planets
I think
between
he's,
the
he's
3
trying to get
systems
the
he
3
controls.
connects, right? I think that's what he's doing.
Because that one's harder.
Because that
No,
one's harder.
I actually can't do that. I don't have enough command tokens to do that.
So you're just looking for 6 planets. Is that it?
Yeah,
He has it.
I do. It's true.
So you're just looking to deny me a point. I get it. Okay.
You could respond by taking one of my planets as well, and then we have a whole big war as well. So
This is true. I mean, not that I particularly want to go Jolnar against Lizix, but
I think the problem is he can take 2 planets off you, and then even if you only take one of his, you don't get a point either, right?
yeah.
who can take 2? Both of us can only take a single planet.
All right, because of one infantry.
Well, I could take Arnon Mir.
He certainly could. He has a Dreadnought 2 that could come. He
You
has this
could try.
carrier
And
with
that,
a few
and that
units here.
solves the problem. Well, yeah, one
That
of
is
my Dread
probably a
2s
winning fight.
with a fighter and a carrier. It takes you. That's not. I mean, you could say it's trying, but yeah, that'll take it. And that removes the problem for me. That's interesting. So my thought is, how's about you give me your ceasefire?
Oh,
And I agree not to do that.
No. You can try. You're gonna hurt, and you're also gonna spread yourself really thin.
I would spread myself. I don't particularly want to do it. I just don't want you coming into Welland. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair. All right, well, if you want to sit there, I'll go to Thebo.
Okay. I mean, that sounds great. Like, I would rather be friends, right? I just was concerned about it.
Oh yeah, I wasn't like necessarily going to invade it. It was just one of the options.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
sure.
that's what you were asking.
No, yeah, I don't want you coming there. And I mean, there's things I could do that for this round anyway could make it so I'm pretty sure I'd take it. I think the odds are with me on that one. But I don't really want to do that because I don't want to have bad feelings with you. I just don't want you coming into Welland. So.
You guys ever see that video of those 2 birds that like puff up their chests really?
Man, I love all you guys. This is a good.
Nine of Spades with the
Yep.
great one-liners this game.
All right, I'll do something else then. I don't want to pass because I don't trust that you won't do it entirely. You know. So I guess.
Well, I always keep my deals, whether I like them or not. So
All right,
if you
well, then
pass, I promise you, I will not attack.
I'll build on Star Point. That takes away some of my material to F with you anyway. That's it.
That forward space dock is going to be pretty powerful with all the money Janor has. Going to be able to build up some pretty strong ships.
So I'm spending 5 trade goods and then building that.
All right, got some reinforcements on the numbers front, some extra ground forces and fighters.
I'll make it equal because I have a carrier.
Sure. So essentially, what he does, since he activates that, he basically moves the ground force that was on Starpoint over to New Albion, and then builds 2 on Starpoint.
I'm
so it
not
ends
sure
up 2 and 2.
That works.
What do you mean? Carrier does movement.
You had
I
2
had
there
2
before. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carry moves, picks up the guy off New Albion, puts him on picks up the guy on Starpoint rather. Puts him on.
Yeah, all good.
And then I built.
Now, Jay, have you
Yeah?
considered just taking a planet from him for no reason whatsoever?
I don't have a need to do that though. I don't
Exactly. That's why I said for no reason.
Right? Yeah. No. I mean, it's not fun to me to get in fights with a bunch of people.
All right, all right.
I just didn't want him in Welland. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
I do fully expect to see Mage take Thieva here. 100%.
Now, if you had the ability to get a carrier to these 2 planets, then you would have been able to actually threaten him. But,
It's super early, man, still, for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
I'd rather be friendly with Mage than not be friendly.
Yeah, me too.
Looks like Mage might be contemplating using one of his available action cards. He can use
And now
frontline
he has
deployment
to
for
decide
some
if he's
extra
going
infantry,
to
or insubordination.
protect you or not.
I know.
Oh, no,
insubordination
I'm
would be a
definitely not.
great,
I'm definitely not. That's not at all what I'm contemplating.
great thing to use on Jolnar right now.
I just
would remove his
decided
last
whether to
remaining
play an
tactics
action card
token,
or not.
preventing Jolnar from being able to retaliate or take one of the planets from L1 that he needs. It would be a little aggressive, right? I don't know if Jolnar specifically has a plan for that token, and most of his stuff was locked down. He does have 1 free Dreadnought, so that probably isn't going anywhere. So I don't think it specifically hurts Jolnar, but it is going to be that would make L1 feel a lot more secure for the rest of the round. Though the round should be ending pretty soon. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Mage is one of the thinkers of this group. He definitely takes his time and is not afraid to take a few minutes to make a decision here. It does look like he's just going to take Thieba. He's going to trust the Jolnar not to
L1 Mage
make any
activates
waves.
Thieba.
Janar, I offer to activate one of your systems with ships in it of your choice in exchange for 3 trade goods.
Interesting.
Can
A
you
lot
do
of
me right
people
This is a good game.
We'll do it.
taking advantage of that E-res siphons, converting their tokens into
I
trade
love
goods.
E-res.
3 trade goods, please.
Yes, sir.
This is a
There's your
very
3 trade goods.
fun state that we're getting into.
What a game. What a game.
I'm happy to help make other people rich if they want to do that.
Yeah, no movement from me.
Okay, we can pass the turn to 9 of Spades.
Alright, 9 of Spades I expect will pass here. I don't think he needs to take any further actions. He could build in his homeworld. He could move some stuff up from his homeworld.
He
but I think I'm
passes.
gonna
Vaunt
best to
has
save
already
that token,
passed. The
which
play
is what he
turns
is
to
doing.
Schroeder.
Khan, I kind of expect to also pass.
All right.
First of all, he has no tokens. Second of all, he has no action cards.
I get the feeling that there's a real chance that Necro was stalling so that he could take both of these with absolutely no repercussions, but whatever.
It's just to take one. I wanted to make sure you weren't gonna try and jip me on the deal. I have seen you backstab.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Everybody does under the right circumstances. It's just how
Everybody does under the right circumstances. All right, I'm gonna pass.
Schroeder passes. Janor.
Does he have a plan for that last token, or is he going to pass?
I'm really sad, Nine. I couldn't convince you to sell me gift.
Who hasn't passed yet?
I cannot imagine. I expect
Magi
gift of prescience to not leave
Magi has
Green's
one
hand at
token.
all this game. I don't expect him to sell it at all. That's just one of those cards that is
Magi,
just
do you
too
wanna-
good
do
to
you
give
want to
away.
exchange these fires by any chance?
Ceasefires?
Yeah, not supports, because then I can't feed you anymore. But
Right. Yeah, I could do that.
okay.
The Necrovirus and the Jolnar become best
Then
pals.
Ooh, Schroeder, that sucks for you, buddy.
Yeah. not in the best position.
All right, Mage.
I've given up a lot.
But you're on Mechatol. You're controlling the seat of the Empire.
Yeah, and you,
Yeah, that
you
was-
solidly got.
Oh, that's not my secret objective.
It'd be great if you did. That'd be
It
great.
would have been. Yeah.
He is scoring his secret objective, though, this round. He does have those 3 space docks that he needs.
I mean, if it was, I probably would have brought fighters just to make it so that if I lost anything, it would have been fine.
And again, if you've watched or listened rather
cat
to that
Charlie's
podcast
just
episode of these
sitting
interviews,
there
Janor,
laughing.
we know is the kind of player who
I'm
likes
the
to
cat. I have
feed
the
everyone else around him, so that that breeds conflict between other players. People are friendly with him; they like him, so they don't fight him.
Nice.
because
Deployment
He's
from
feeding them,
Mage,
so they
3
fight each
infantry
other
on
with
one
all those
planet. Which
extra
planet?
resources and things that they're getting from Janor, and that's exactly what he's doing: feeding
On
tech,
Zobat.
feeding trade goods,
Three ground forces
feeding
on
action
Zobat.
cards.
I don't hear
Yes.
any
causing a lot of action
sabotages.
I love
away
frontline
from him.
deployment.
Frontline
They
deployment.
sabotage my 7. They're not saboing his 3.
Right,
An action card for
It's
3 ground
poor
forces on
man's,
Zobat.
Rise of the Messiah. I love it.
Yep.
As agreed, I will go to Centauri Grawl, bringing all of this, landing both infantry on Grawl.
Heyo. A magi of his word.
All right.
Pass the turn when you're
Again,
done.
I expect that this round is
Can I take
basically
Grawl?
over now.
Janor?
I don't think anyone else is going to be taking any more actions.
I am past.
Yes.
Mage passes. So Magi, you're the last one on the round. It's all around back to you.
Pass.
Magi passes. 9 of spades, first in the order. Can you score any secret or public objectives?
Yes, I am going to score a secret objective, control the region, ships and 6 systems,
All right.
and expand borders, 6 planets in non-home systems.
All right. Scoring that control the region on round 2 is
You're
kind of
6.
challenging, so I'm very impressed with that
2 points to Nalu.
that score. To be quite
Vaunt?
honest.
I will not be scoring any of the public objectives today.
Right. Schroeder?
I believe that the public objectives are impossible for me, but I can do a secret. 3 space docks.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Perfect. Janor?
Control. Expand borders, rather.
Expanded borders for Jolnar. Any secrets?
No, sir.
Mage? Mage is cornering the market.
4 traits, which he does indeed have with
Any
those
secrets?
industrials.
Like no. And Magi.
I will control 6 planets. Expand borders.
All
Okay.
right.
If that's the end of scoring for round 2, we've got Barony Jolnar Nalu at 2, Necro Hakan L1 at 1. Your 4th, stage 1, public objective. Develop weaponry, own 2 unit upgrades. Somebody shot it through the table. Oh no.
It's gone forever.
I think it got locked on the other side of the table too. What have you done?
Oh shit.
I can get you a new one.
That is pretty funny.
It's right there.
Thank you. We got it. All right. Lock. All right. Develop weaponry. Nobody new researched neural this last round, so here come your action cards. Boing, boing. Boing. Boing, boing. Oh, no, Blair.
Sorry.
That was me. My bad.
It's safe
Yeah.
to shuffle them.
I'm gonna shuffle that. The yellow, so purple gets 2, blue 2, red gets 1. There we go. All right, everyone, you are free to do your homework.
All right, we need 2 unit upgrades here. All right, so 2 unit upgrades is a super fun little objective. The first one that's not a control objective that's come up for us. No one has 2 yet, but several people have 1. Mostly, actually, only Dreadnought 2. We have the Barony, the Jolnar, and Necrovirus with Dreadnought 2. So, Matt, is it time for that round 2 wrap up, bro?
Yeah. Oh, I just saw the spreadsheet update on the.
Yeah, it
on
looked
the,
fucking
Twitch
hot.
Stream.
Are we gonna do the
Yeah, we will do a short break
The
before we
pillars?
do the agenda phase. We'll always do it after
Okay.
status phase before agenda phases. So once I see
okay.
all of them returned, once I see all strategy cards returned, we'll call it like a 3-minute break.
Did I reset the camera right? Yeah, I did.
So we'll be back at 39 minutes. What we'll call that 39 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, Root,
Okay.
give me
Good,
all you
you
got,
have-
Oh,
too.
man.
baby.
That was a pretty intense,
I skipped out
lengthy
on tech
round
last
2. We
round.
we just hit a little over the 3-hour mark, so
Yeah.
we were
I'm
slogging through it.
regret.
Getting
I'm
it.
not
Okay,
gonna
so
lie.
you flank speed and grab
But it's
that.
been.
Alright.
I need
I
to
was so confused.
deafen the Discord while they chat.
Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, the whole Mechatol thing was pretty interesting. It felt kind of weird that Barony didn't take the deal not to go to Mechatol Rex, 'cause I kind of thought it was a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Especially since it would keep him from overextending, which is exactly what happened. He did overextend. He did
I
get
have
attacked.
a hunch that Vaunt never actually was gonna take. I think he just was only gonna take like a ridiculously juicy deal. I think 6
Yeah.
trade goods was kind of middling, and I think he was looking to get paid a shit ton. I think he was looking to get paid a lot.
Yeah, he may very well have been looking for that, but I think that's a little bit unrealistic. I think the 6 trade good deal.
Probably,
I think there was something else on top of that, something else small, but I think that was a pretty good deal not to go in there and do that.
Yeah,
'Cause
I mean, it
think he
definitely
needed
hurt
to-
him to take Mechatol.
Yeah,
he,
it did.
he has paid dearly for it.
Yeah,
and
and
Schroeder
then-
looks like he's about to pay dearly for it. So
Yeah, he did pay dearly for it. He paid 7 trade goods for the action cards he needed to take Mechatol
Yeah,
Rex.
right.
And he kind of got a little lucky with the fight there because, as Vaunt eventually said,
Yeah.
he does have 2 direct hits. in his hand.
hits, right?
And if he'd gotten just a single hit on that first combat round, I think it would have been bad news for Hakan.
Right. Janor is messaging me that he's got a nice action card hand I've been dealing him. Am I dealing him trash? Is Janor's hand bad?
He has great cards. He has Experimental Battle Station, Repeal Law, Reactor Meltdown, Parlay, Shields Holding, Fire Team, Courageous to the end.
Wow.
So yeah, pretty stellar. Those
My
combat
gosh.
cards are great for Jolnar to have to help him negate that -1, and some really good actions. Repeal Law, Reactor Meltdown, Parlay. Yeah, just a really solid hand all around.
Yeah.
Jolnar probably came out of this round really great. Just
I mean,
so
they're
many trade
making
goods.
bank
People,
even with them only really getting 1 trade good a piece out of
Yeah,
E-Res. They're
yeah.
just
people are loving him. He's doing his good old build other people up so they fight each other thing. I don't know that I love people trading in their tokens for trade goods, but it seems like they have reasons to do that. They need the money, so maybe that'll work out.
and
Nalu,
as they've all said, these points are tough. I mean,
Yeah.
this is not an easy game for them to,
for sure.
to get points.
Nalu has played a really low key great game. Their slice is super well defended.
That control the region is convenient because they get to do what they want to do anyways. And look like they were just going for a point for it, but then they look good for a Nalu.
Yep,
sure.
and next round they can take tech. They can double tech to Neuroglaive with that green skip and 2 Hypercrystal Fighter 2s. So they're looking super solid. As long as they're gonna have trouble with control objectives, I think, because their carriers are so slow. So maybe instead of Neuroglaive or Fighter 2s, he goes for Grav Drive. I don't know.
Yeah. It looks like our time's about up.
All right.
I think that's a good little catch up there.
Yeah.
See you on the other side, Root.
Roger Dodger.